Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for being here. Uh, Bear with me for a second and just sit back and enjoy the music. I find it strange that the lyrics on these songs uh really deal with what we go through today. It's so strange that all of these years, not much has changed in the state of this country. So I'll be back. If the stream goes down, I will return for the news. Well, what I think is going on, I think what's going on is it's time to get busy. Uh, people fought for us and our freedoms to get where uh, we were comfortable in, and we thought that we could rest on our laurels, and it doesn't seem like uh, that is the fact. But if you pay close attention, we already knew that that wasn't the fact, but we lost the fight in ourselves. Some of us would rather switch than fight. We have to fight the powers that be indeed. So all of this will be erased from my video. This video is unable to be monetized because I just decided that I wanted to play some music that shows you throughout uh, many centuries. United States of America has been what we all know and all experience the United States of America to be. So we're not going to play these games. We see white people, people who want to uphold white supremacy in this nation have gone on override. They have really gone on override in this nation, and uh, allowing 45, 47 to do whatever he wants. And if you are not disgusted at the overreach that this administration has taken and the overtness of them trying to take action against people of color, you have no fight in you. You have absolutely no fight in you. I hear so much BS about people who never even bother to be concerned about themselves. More concerned about things that are not going to affect them and how they live their lives at all. The escapism of it all. But this is some shit that they want you to be blind to. This is some shit that's going on that they're happy that you're engulfed in bullshit and dumb shit because they don't want you to see it coming. And then you're gonna be like, "Oh, what happened? Oh, what happened?" And then you're gonna be conversing with all the wrong information because you never bother to get facts. You just want to propel bullshit and storylines. So let's get this started, right? If you guys are unaware, a court has shut down 45 47 control of the Department of Justice control over the police department. So if you're unaware, then stay with me. So let me start. I just added this to what I was going to tell you. Pam Bundy came out today and said that it, in effect, that the police chief over the DC police was no longer the police chief. That's illegal. And DC took them to court behind it. She also put into um, her order that they were not to follow any of the mayors saying that the DC police would not assist in any ICE or immigration type of arrests. Pam Bondi came out. Now this is the mayor of the city who was voted in by the people of the city. Pam Bondi came in and said, "No, ignore what she put in her orders. Ignore what the mayor of DC put in her orders. These are the orders." So I'm gonna play the actual uh, judge's decision about this, and I'm also going to play what the DC mayor said that the cops could not do under DC articles, and I'm going to share you what Pam Bondi then came back and told them to ignore. But let's start off with this. They're trying to steal seats. They need 5 seats in Congress. So we know they're trying to steal seats in Congress. So Gavin Newsom is going to put a amendment on the November 4th elections in California, because unlike Texas, California has an independent board that marks up the seats. So with Texas, all 45, 47 had to do is tell Greg Abbott, "Hey, I need 5 more seats." And Greg Abbott went to work. They don't have to consult with anybody. They just can do his bidding. But California, they have a independent bureau assigned to drawing lines for the districts. So now, you have to understand that California has the largest population in the United States. They are the 4th largest economy, period. So you have to understand that for Gavin Newsom to do the same thing that the Republicans are doing, he has more people who he can gerrymander districts for. He has more people that he can sideline to make them blue district. California is already a blue state, but California does have some red pockets in California where they have representation for Republicans. So Gavin Newsom can definitely make these Republicans lose their seats. He can make many more Republicans than Texas can make Democrats lose seats. So he has the upper hand, but they're calling foul. But they can't call foul. They said that Gavin Newsom, he can't do this because they have a actual committee that does this. That's why Gavin Newsom put this on the in the elections for the people to vote on November 4th. So you cannot say what Gavin Newsom cannot do. They put an amendment in this vote that they have on November 4th to see if the people approves this, if it wins or lose. And then that's how they decide to play the game. So Gavin Newsom went out yesterday to announce this. And what do you think happened? 45, 47, all of a sudden in a place where there is not a lot of foot traffic, not a lot going on at the Japanese museum downtown. It's not like it was in the flower district. It's not like it was any busy district of downtown. All of a sudden, who showed up outside of the museum? No, none other than ICE with their bullshit. So do you think that these are intimidation tactics that this man is trying to use on somebody who is clearing the way to do the same thing that they did in Texas? Okay, let's hear Gavin Newsom make his announcement, and let's check this out.
Thank you. Thank all of you. In the spirit of that African proverb that Senator Padilla was referencing, You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. And I look back at this audience, and I look at all of you united in this cause, and I'm reminded where we are at this precious moment in time. We are in Los Angeles. The most diverse city, in the most diverse county, in the most diverse state, in the world's most diverse democracy. And I've long believed that the world looks to us, to all of you, to see that it's possible to live together and advance together and prosper together across every conceivable and imaginable difference. What makes LA great, what makes California great, and what makes the United States of America great is that at our best, we don't tolerate our diversity, we celebrate our diversity. And it's a point of pride because we're all in this together. Where are we? At Democracy Center. And right outside, at this exact moment, are dozens and dozens of ICE agents. Donald Trump, you think it's coincidental? No. Donald Trump and his minions, Tom Homan, tough guy, clearly decided, coincidentally or not, that this was a location to advance ICE arrests. Indiscriminate? Perhaps. We'll find out later. It was certainly indiscriminate when a 15-year-old disabled boy had a gun put to his head in Los Angeles trying to go to school just a few days ago. I met with it. I don't need to belabor this, except I want to level set. People are scared. People are fearful.
Also note that that 15-year-old boy was a U.S. citizen. Let's continue.
You had a United States senator was thrown down to the ground in a federal building. Alex Padilla. J.D. Vance's name is Alex Padilla, not Jose Padilla. That's the Vice President of the United States. It's another museum not so far away from us. Talks about those 53 days. Some of you know what I'm referring to. Wake up, America. This is a serious moment. Wake up to what's going on. Wake up to the fear, the anxiety. Wake up to what's happening, not just here in Los Angeles, where we saw our streets militarized. We saw our due process rights thrown out the window. You heard the word disappeared. I was with a 12-year-old boy born in Oxnard, California, whose mother and father were disappeared. 20 years going to the same packing facility every single day. He didn't even know how to get back into his own home, into his own house. Had no brothers and sisters. He has now disappeared in an attempt to find his parents. That's Trump's America. That's the moment we're living in. So these are sober times. And so I'm deeply grateful to all of you for standing up and for being here today. I'm grateful for all the elected officials that are here, members of Congress, not just our 2 U.S. senators, to members of the California legislature for having the courage of their convictions, for standing tall and standing firm, to recognize today is Liberation Day in the state of California. And as Senator Schiff said, Donald Trump, you have poked the bear, and we will punch back. Here's the good thing about California, folks. We're the size of 21 state populations combined. We're the 4th largest economy in the world. We're not a small, isolated state. I know they say don't mess with Texas. Well, don't mess with the great Golden State. And so we're here with our state of mind, with the clarity of our purpose and conviction, to recognize that we need to reconcile the world we're living in. We do have agency. We're not bystanders in this world. We can shape the future, and that's what we intend to do today. We're here because Donald Trump, on January 6th, tried to light democracy on fire, tried to wreck this country, tried to steal an election, as Alex just said, by trying to dial in for 11, almost 12,000 votes. And here we are in open and plain sight before one vote is cast in the 2026 midterm election. And here he is once again trying to rig the system. He doesn't play by a different set of rules. He doesn't believe in the rules. And as a consequence, we need to disabuse ourselves of the way things have been done. It's not good enough to just hold hands, have a candlelight vigil, and talk about the way the world should be. We have got to recognize the cards that have been dealt. And we have got to meet fire with fire. And we've got to be held to a higher level of accountability. So that's what this is about. It's not complicated. We're doing this in reaction to a president of the United States that called a sitting governor of the state of Texas and said, find me 5 seats. We're doing it in reaction to that act. We're doing it mindful of our higher angels and better angels. We're doing it mindful that we want to model better behavior, as we've been doing for 15 years in the state of California with our independent redistricting commission. But we cannot unilaterally disarm. We can't stand back and watch this democracy disappear. We can't stand back and watch this democracy disappear district by district all across this country, not just in Texas, but in Missouri, where J.D. Vance went just a week ago, in Indiana, in places like Ohio, in places like Florida. We need to stand up, not just California. Other blue states need to stand up. We need to be firm in our resolve. We need to put back. So we're here in that light. And I'm grateful to have remarkable partners in the legislature. It's a tall task. We're asking them for 2/3 of legislative consent. But this is the difference. This is the difference between what's happening in Texas and what's happening here in California. We didn't receive a phone call from the President of the United States to then quietly go in the back room and start drawing maps and legislatively try to jam them through against the consent of the people. We're doing precisely the opposite. We're working through a very transparent, temporary, and public process. We're putting the maps on the ballot, and we're giving the power to the people. This will be the first redistricting that's ever done. That's the difference. We tried to raise the standards, and these guys are not playing by any set of rules. So this time requires us to act anew, not just think anew. And so I'm grateful to all of the remarkable leaders that have stepped up this unifying effort here in the state of California. And we'll be asking for the people on November 4th, a special election, coinciding with a lot of local municipal elections, to provide a temporary pathway for congressional maps. We will affirm our commitment to the state independent redistricting after the 2030 census, but we're asking the voters for their...
They're asking for it to be a temporary thing where they can redraw the maps, because the maps of, like I've told you many times, are usually drawn after the census. And so what Texas is doing is appeasing 45, 47, because he know his policies, the unemployment rate, the inflation rate has gone up. And we have not even met all the the higher prices that these tariffs are going to bring us. We are just at the beginning of this. So 45, 47 is well aware that the country has soured on him. Even his MAGA base, farmers, all of these people who put him in office, he understands that their agenda is unpopular. So Gavin Newsom doesn't want this to just be the norm. He's asking it to go through the, I believe, 2028 elections, because, you know, in 45, 47 already has Make America Great Again baseball caps with 2028, 45, 47, 2028 on them. So he's asking for it throughout that 2028 November election. Okay.
Consent to do midterm redistricting in 2026, 2028, and 2030 for the congressional maps to respond to what's happening in Texas.
Oh, through 2030 for the congressional maps, because after 2028 they're going to have a congressional seat. So he wants to do it through 2030. Temporarily up until that time. Let's continue.
To respond what Trump is trying to excite. And we'll do so in a way that also affirms our desire as a state to level the playing field all across the United States. We believe in a national independent redistricting framework. And we believe that's the right goal and the right thing to pursue. And I will just state for the fact, Zoe Lofgren, who runs our California delegation, she authored the bill. Democrats unanimously supported that National Independent Redistricting Commission. Republicans were nowhere to be found. They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides, because they know what Donald Trump knows. He's going to lose the midterms. He knows de facto his presidency ends in 17 months, when Speaker Jeffries is back in. He knows it. Why else would you try to rig the system? Why else would you make the phone call? He's a failed president. Who else sends ICE same time having a conversation like this? Someone who's weak. Someone who's broken. Someone whose weakness is masquerading as strength. The most unpopular president in modern history. An economy that's collapsing all around him. You saw the new wholesale prices going up almost a full percentage point today. Inflation is going up. Job creation is going down. He's trying to rewrite history, Smithsonian, censoring historical facts. And in the spirit of what Adam Schiff said, he's trying to put America in reverse on voting rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, on women's rights. He wants to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. That's what this is all about. It's about power. And I want to end on this. And we are about to give power back to the people. You have, on November 4th in California, you have the power to stand up to Trump. You have the power to declare that you support a system that is not rigged. You have the power on November 4th to stand up for people that are being bullied. You have the power to stand up for people that are
fight the power. We got to fight the power that be. Okay, so that link is in my description box. Now, there was a guest there, Brian, what does it say? Brian Tyler Cohen. He was at the event, and this is how he reported it. He reported on the event. Let's get to Brian Tyler Cohen. Trump pulls an insane. Here we are. The name of this video. Go over.
Gavin Newsom was giving his highly anticipated press conference today, announcing the debut of California's plan to.
Brian Tyler Cohen. Great content. Let me make sure it's sharing. Yes, it's sharing. He was at the event, and here's what he saw.
Gavin Newsom was giving his highly anticipated press conference today, announcing the debut of California's plan to redraw the maps in response to the blatant power grab by Trump and Republicans. And right in the middle of that press conference, this is what happened outside.
Now we're here making Los Angeles a safer place since we won't have politicians. We do that ourselves. So that's what we're here today.
Now, I should note first and foremost that I am here at the press conference in Los Angeles right now. That's why I'm not in my regular studio. The location is not a high traffic area.
Okay, so did you hear what he said? We're here because to keep Los Angeles safe, because since we don't have politicians. So if you're there to keep Los Angeles safe, what does Gavin Newsom's politics have to do with anything? This was a political stunt. Understand that your tax dollars is paying for this buffoonery that 4547 is doing, using this big force that has the largest budget in all of any type of policing, the ICE budget. This is what he's doing with your money, pulling political stunts. Let's continue.
And certainly not one that would warrant any activity by ICE. But of course, they didn't come for a legitimate reason. They came to do what Trump's law enforcement agencies always do, which is to intimidate. Donald Trump is broadcasting that he wants to be a dictator and will use the power of the state to suppress any dissent, chill free speech, and cow his enemies into submission. This ICE presence is one more instance of exactly that, textbook authoritarianism. Newsom was in the middle of his press conference, but knew what was happening outside, prompting this response.
Well, I think it's pretty sick and pathetic. And it just said everything you need to know, the setting that we're under. That they chose the time, manner, and place to send their district director outside right when we're about to have this press conference. It said everything you know about Donald Trump's America. And that was top down. You know that for a fact. And they'll deny it, I'm sure. Maybe they won't deny it. Said everything you know about the authoritarian tendencies of the President of the United States. I said in a moment ago, wake up, America, wake up. You will not have a country if he rigs this election. You will have a president who will be running for a third term. Mark my word. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around. The rules do not apply to him. The most corrupt president in history. Doesn't believe in free enterprise, crony capitalism. He is wrecking this country, wrecking the economy. It's a lawless president. Wake up, America. Wake up to what's going on. We know what Donald Trump knows. He's going to lose the midterms.
Now, I showed you the 2028 hat. If it was not this week. It was definitely last week. I showed you 4547 giving a visitor to the White House a Trump 2028 hat. The link is in my description box. Now, this is the local news reporting on ICE showing up. Here we go. This is the California local news.
In Little Tokyo this morning, our Robert Kovacic was there when it all unfolded. And let's start with him now live downtown. Robert.
Lolita, it was simply our goal to join my colleague Conan Nolan inside of the museum for the governor's news conference, but we never got there because there they were, a number of them, helmeted, camouflaged, armed, and masked. Border Patrol agents that came as a surprise to us, but Border Patrol telling NBC4 investigates it shouldn't come as a surprise. Their show of force here in downtown Los Angeles has been present for several months.
Who they showing up for? Do you see the street? Do you see the activity behind him? But let's continue.
Now, and will continue to do so. However, accusations today that this was nothing but political theater. This morning, uniformed, armed Border Patrol agents outside the entrance to the Japanese-American National Museum that just happens to be the location of a news conference by Governor Newsom. And those agents went to work. A strawberry vendor taken into custody.
Today, Customs and Border Protection is conducting roving patrol duties here, as you can see, in downtown Los Angeles. This is a location that we have conducted these roving patrol duties for the past 2 months. We've been here over 2 months, and as you can see today, we did make an apprehension just a few feet from where I'm standing.
We did make a apprehension. Do you see the number of ICE people out there? They made one apprehension. Okay, so I gave you the story on this guy also last week. How he has been lying. He lied about the people who they raided on I believe it was a farm, and he said the majority of them were criminals, when in fact there were no criminals. I believe it was 0 criminals of the people he arrested, the nearly 100 people. So he's a liar. So he's a it's already been documented that he's a liar. But let's continue.
Was Border Patrol in place because of Gavin Newsom's planned announcement?
Am I for illegal immigration? No, I'm not. But I am not for my tax dollars being spent for a dog and pony show for 47 because his policies are egregious and he's afraid that he will not be reelected. That's what I'm not for. See, you got to get beyond the spectacle that they are putting in front of your eyes. You have to get beyond that and understand that this is costing you. Where have you who live in a country that has a $7.45 minimum wage? That you have to get behind what all of this money could have done for you, your community, your children, your children's children. You have to get beyond this and see it for what it is. This is my point. So I don't want to hear nobody talking about I don't give a fuck what you say. If you want to know my views, there are tons and tons of videos from before the election through the election to this day on my views. So all of the ignorance that you people spew, you uninformed people who spew things that you have no idea what's going on in the world, fuck you. Fuck you and fuck what you think. Because your thing can't get you out of a paper bag. I'm giving you facts. Let's continue.
To redistrict California in favor of Democrats, they would not respond when asked directly by NBC4 and later by NBC4 Investigates. But the swift arrival of Mayor Bass with her own answer. Mayor Bass, you're live on NBC4 right now. You do not believe that this just happened to be a coincidence.
There is no way this was a coincidence. This was widely publicized that the governor and many of our other elected officials were having a press conference here to talk about redistricting, and they decided they were going to come and thumb their nose in front of the governor's face.
And she was joined by leading Democrats on Capitol Hill who were here to support Newsom's plan.
Now, this is Alex Padilla. J.D. Vance decided to call him Jose Padilla. This is the congressman who was thrown on the floor when Christine Nome was in town and he wanted to ask her a question, and they threw him on the ground and handcuffed him. This is one of the elected officials. That's not Jose Padilla.
Coincidence. I mean, Trump is all about spectacle. He's trying to intimidate. But guess what? Californians don't get intimidated.
Are they here to arrest the governor and the senators? I'm sure Trump would like to. And he seems to regard these ICE agents as his own personal political police. Border Patrol's Greg Bovino, speaking directly to NBC4 Investigates, says the man they cuffed today and took away was done so because he was in this country illegally. No matter, according to Congresswoman Maxine Waters.
And we know that you're trying to.
Okay, so it takes a whole AR-15, and 3 ICE officers, hands-on, to arrest a strawberry vendor. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you. Let me see if you guys have no comment. So I will go on. I will go further into the unlawlessness that is going on in Washington, D.C. If you guys did not know that 4547 can only put the National Guard boots on the ground in Washington, D.C. for how long? How long do you think? 48 hours. 48 hours without congressional approval. Did you know that? Did you know that when he said that he's going to have them there forever if needed? No, he is only legally allowed to put them on the ground for 48 hours unless Congress approves a longer stay. Did you hear him say anything about going to Congress? Did you see Congress is on vacation? Did you hear any emergency meeting with Congress happening? Why do you think he did it in August? Why do you think he did it in August? Congress is on vacation. Actually, Congress went on vacation early so they would not have to answer any more questions about that Epstein case. Remember Mike Johnson let out Congress early? But they want to tell you the Democrats in Texas are not doing their job, but they ain't saying nothing about that. Okay, let's continue. If they get an extension from Congress, do you know how long that extension will last before they have to get reauthorization from Congress? 30 days. 30 days from a man who said he will have them deployed there indefinitely. So I'm telling you what the law is. So let me show you what Pam what do I call her? Pam Bimbo called herself doing this morning, and see how it worked out for her by this afternoon. So here we go. Let me show you this. Hold on. Here we go. And y'all know it must be news if I'm taking it from fucking bend the knee ass Joe Scarborough. Here we go.
In another huge step towards complete takeover of this city and the police by the Trump administration, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced yesterday that she was stripping authority from the city's police chief and appointing the head of the Drug Enforcement Agents, Terry Cole, as the city's emergency police commissioner.
At my directive, we have made Terry Cole now the commissioner over the police. He runs the entire show, keeping everyone organized, and they report directly to me, and I report to the President of the United States.
The new chain of command means the city's police chief, Pamela Smith, must receive approval from Cole before issuing any directives to law enforcement. However, Washington, D.C. leadership is pushing back on the change. Democratic Mayor Muriel Bowser called the move unlawful. D.C.'s Attorney General also suggesting that the police department does not have to follow this order. Joining us now, former New York City Police Commissioner and the executive chairman of Teneo Risk, Bill Bratton. Eugene Robinson. Mr. Bratton has the first question.
Now, I hate that they have this mealy mouth, Bill Bratton on here. He was in New York. He was the New York City commissioner, police commissioner, and he tries to play it like, oh well, I don't know. It could when you he actually does know that this is against the law. Then he finally gets to the point, but he has to appease 45-47 as well. So. Let's get to somebody else. This link is in my description box. The way he tries to both sides it, I am sick of these motherfuckers with the bullshit. The link is in my description.
That department, the head of that department, Jesse Tisch, is doing an extraordinary job. So it's going to be a period of turbulence and uncertainty, and we don't need that.
It's going to be a period of turbulence and uncertainty when the law is the law. He says that the woman is doing a good job in her position, but it's going to be a period of turbulence and uncertainty. Let's go to the next guest. I didn't hear what he said.
You picked it up as well. There are some things that the mayor of Washington, D.C. is going along with. They're doing everything they can do.
There's some things that she has no choice but to go along with. Let's continue.
To make this run as smoothly as possible, and are deferring to the federal government where they feel it's proper to defer to the federal government. They went around, they cleared out homeless encampments, saying get out and go to shelters before the feds come here, trying to prevent.
No, they gave them the information. The feds were the one who cleared out the homeless encampments from the reports that I got. They gave them the information that the feds would be coming there, and that is who went there tearing down tents. Okay, Joe Scarborough. I knew I shouldn't have went to Joe. Let me see what this man has.
Any terrible pushback or fights. At the same time, though, there are some things that the administration is doing that's clearly over the line, and they seem to be pushing back there in the proper places.
So, Commissioner Bratton, I want to ask you the question that any resident of Washington has on his mind, which is, will these steps help reduce our crime problem? We do have a crime problem in Washington. It's getting better, but it's just still significant. And how are the individual officers who are the front lines in that fight going to respond to all this turmoil on top of them? What does that mean for a police officer in a patrol car trying to deal with crime every day? How are they going to be affected?
Confusion, instability, uncertainty. That's what's being created at the moment. Then the issue is sustainability. These surges are not uncommon in policing, my policing career. You surge into high crime areas, you get the problem under control, and then you move on. The federal.
This is not a surge because of crime. Let me disregard this fucking link. I knew I shouldn't have trusted Joe Scarborough because he's a fucking kiss ass. Okay, I apologize for even sending you guys here. This is not what I wanted. I want to give you actual facts. Let's go to the case that was filed against Pam Bondi and in Washington D.C. Pam Bondi. Who else? The administration, Pam Bondi, and a couple of more people have been sued about this situation. So here we go. Right here, and we're not gonna speculate. We are going to hear what is in the case filings, and we're going to hear what's in the memo that the police, that the mayor said that they do not, the police force do not have to comply with. And we're going to hear what happened when they went to court. Let's continue.
Federal court in Washington, D.C. over Trump's invocation of a completely specious and false executive order wherein he declared a, quote, crime emergency in D.C., thereby being able to invoke a very specific section of the Home Rule Act. That
What was the crime emergency? That Big Balls got punched in the nose by a 15-year-old black girl? I'm still waiting to hear where this crime emergency was. I played for you both the FBI idiot and 4547 said, talking about how crime was so down. We do know for a fact, not just by the state's facts, but by the government's own facts, that crime in D.C. was at a 30-year low. Okay, let's continue.
Section 740, we've covered it here at your channel. It allows the President of the United States to be able to determine that special conditions of an emergency nature exist that require the use of the Metropolitan Police Force for federal purposes. The President may direct the mayor to provide him, and the mayor shall provide the services of that Metropolitan Police Force as the President may deem necessary and appropriate. Section 740 also, to refresh your recollection, says that this period is not supposed to exceed 48 hours unless there is congressional approval given, and at any rate is never supposed to exceed 30 days, again, unless there is a joint resolution by Congress which allows further time. Now, that executive order, I want to remind all of you, as you already know, an executive order is not law. It is just words on a piece of paper that convicted felon Donald Trump decides meets his fancy for that day. But the showdown that is about to happen is a critical one, because on August 14th, which is just yesterday, Pamela Joe, Attorney General of the United States, law lackey extraordinaire for convicted felon Donald Trump, she did enter this order. It's entitled Restoring Safety and Security to the District of Columbia. And in a hyper-partisan hack way, as Pamela Joe does, she writes, notwithstanding false media narratives and apparent efforts by some district employees to manipulate crime statistics, the danger posed by violent crime in the district is plain for all to see. She's living in an alternate universe because it doesn't exist.
Did you hear how that letter started? Notwithstanding the false narratives of the media who is absolutely reading the actual factual crime statistics, but now it's the media's fault. They're giving false information where they have not countered any of this information about there being no emergency crime spike in Washington, D.C. Have they given any information where there has been such a spike in crime in D.C.? No, they presented absolutely nothing but their lying flapping lips. Let's continue.
But nevertheless, this order, number 6370-2025, orders the mayor of the District of Columbia, Mayor Bowser, and the Metropolitan Police Department to immediately implement the following. That the Drug Enforcement Administration Administrator, Terrence C. Cole, will serve as the MPD's Emergency Police Commissioner for the duration of the emergency as declared by convicted felon Trump. Cole shall assume all of the powers and the duties vested in the District of Columbia Chief of Police. Cole shall have the authority to issue any general orders, executive orders, or other written directives that apply to the members of the MPD force. Existing MPD leadership, including the current chief of police, must receive approval from Commissioner Cole before issuing any further directives to the MPD. Stated differently, the current chief of police, she's out, and now the new chief of police is the DEA Administrator, Terrence Cole. Because again, the DEA has nothing better to be doing, right, than to go and police the streets of DC. But we'll get into that a little bit further. Executive Order 25-005, issued on August 14th, 2025 by the Chief of Police, is hereby rescinded. So what is that executive order? That particular executive order is one that basically says we will not do things like make an inquiry through a database solely to inquire about an individual's status, their immigration status. We will not do these things. We will only do the following. We will share information about people that are not in MPD custody, i.e. maybe if they were taken into custody during a traffic stop. And we will not provide, we will provide transportation for Federal Immigration Agency employees and detained subjects. In other words, there was some measure of cooperation that MPD was going to provide to federal immigration officials. Then going back to Bond.
Now, she said that the head of the DEA would be over all police proceeding. But did you notice how she was the one who put in her fucking little directive that any rule that the chief of police had put up was she was invalidating any of the rules? I thought it was the head of the DHA. Okay.
Order. Section 4, paragraph 22 of a general order is hereby suspended until further notice. Well, what does that general order say? That particular paragraph, paragraph 22, is from a code of conduct for the Metropolitan Police Department, and it's entitled Immigration Enforcement. And it says the same thing.
Now, wait a minute. This is a code of conduct, memorandum that was put out. So how is it that did Pam Bondi ever work on a police force to establish any type of code of conduct for police officers? What qualifies her to get rid of the code of conduct part in the Washington D.C.'s memorandums? I think a judge is going to let us know. A judge is going to let us know about all of this. I will show you the judges. See, they were doing all of this before DC said, you know what, fuck you hoes. We're going to take you to court. And it was it was handled in record time. Let's continue.
The chief of police said in her executive order, right? It basically says, we're not going to help the feds make inquiries into people's immigration status because we are not going to assist them with enforcement of civil immigration laws. We're just going to do that limited cooperation that the chief of police put forth in that order from, what was the date? August 14th, from yesterday. Okay. Then Bondi goes on to say that Section 2, paragraphs 8.2 and F of another general order are hereby suspended until further notice. So let's go and see what those things say. Paragraph 8.A.2 basically says that members of the MPD shall not arrest individuals solely based on their ICE warrants or detainers as long as there's no additional criminal warrant or underlying offense for which the individual is.
No, Bandy wants to have you do ICE work. Don't you have enough money and people for ICE to do their own work? So they're saying that every police officer have to be ICE officers as well. Are they getting dual pay since you want them to do dual jobs? I don't think so. Let's continue.
Subject to arrest. Additionally, members shall not assist ICE with arrest or transport of individuals solely based on ICE warrants or detainers. Well, according to Pam Bondi, that particular provision has now been suspended until further notice. The other paragraph, paragraph F, says the following. ICE warrants and detainers. MPD members are prohibited from assisting with the enforcement of civil immigration laws. I mean, in other words, Bondi has now unilaterally declared that any of the existing policies and provisions for the Metropolitan PD and DC are hereby rescinded, suspended until further notice, because now, Bondi wants to use the Metropolitan PD to be able to pursue felon Trump's immigration enforcement scheme. That's
now. Let's be clear. Let me make sure my mic is on. Let's be clear. This is a total overreach of your federal government. Nobody, so they can do this in DC because there is no governor, but they thought that they could do it easily. And you notice how the for-profit media is making it seem like, even though the statistics say that crime is down, they are trying to get tough on crime. They're trying to act as if this is plausible, that something about this is rational, when all of this is crazy work. All of this is crazy work based upon one person who we know is a a common liar. What am I trying to say? Prolific liar. Where did the guy get the F? We know that he is a prolific liar. So let's continue.
It is such bullshit to suggest that they are going to be eliminating the non-existent violent crime wave that is happening in DC. That's not happening. They want to hijack the Metropolitan PD to be able to advance Trump's immigration enforcement scheme. It bears repeating, people. In response to Pamela Jo's order on August 14th, immediately the District of Columbia's Attorney General Brian Schwab, issued the following letter to Pamela Smith, who's the Chief of Police of Metropolitan PD. And here's what it says. Dear Chief Smith, it is my opinion that the Bondi order is unlawful and that you are not legally obligated to follow it. Regardless
unlawful, and you are not legally obligated to follow this bullshit that Pam Bondi thought that she could just ramrod up you because the mayor is a black woman, and I think the chief of police may be a black woman, and you are to do as you're told, and you have no power, even the power that your constituents put into you. You have no power, bitches. Y'all don't have no power. It's a new day. It's a new sheriff in town. And we're lawless. Don't you know that he's a 43-time convicted felon? And you think we gonna follow the law? Let's continue.
Regardless of the Bondi order, no official other than you may exercise all the powers and
Let's continue.
Regardless of the Bondi order, no official other than you may exercise all the powers and
Let's continue.
Regardless of the Bondi order, no official other than you may exercise all the powers.
I apologize. I hit the wrong button. So the attorney for the chief of police said you are not obligated to abide to any of this unlawful shit that Pam Bondi sent you. And we're going to read the court papers. She's going to read the court papers as well. If you're not subscribed to Katie Fang, her link is in the description box under federal lawsuit. Go over there and check her out, because the thing that I like most about her is she reads these she always has the paperwork, so it's not you have to take my word for it, or I'm I'm just giving it to you my way. No, she gives the actual paperwork, court paperwork, any type of paperwork that goes with her stories.
PD. And here's what it says. Dear Chief Smith, it is my opinion that the Bondi order is unlawful and that you are not legally obligated to follow it. Regardless of the Bondi order, no official other than you may exercise all the powers and duties of the Chief of Police or issue any executive orders, general orders, or other written directives that apply to members of MPD. Sincerely. So,
wait a minute, you mean to tell me that Pam Bondi can issue an executive order? She just did. What do you mean?
The reason why I walked through all of this is because it has led to this. A 33-page lawsuit that immediately dropped this morning, Friday, August 15th, in the federal district court for the District of Columbia. This lawsuit is a freaking whammy. It slams the Trump administration. It slams Pamela Jo Bondi. It slams Trump for his insanity. Because even though legally speaking, Section 740 of the Home Rule Act allows Donald Trump to be able to do what he is doing in theory and on its face in D.C., going beyond the bounds and doing it in this way is illegal. It's unconstitutional. And we're going to get
And understand that it has been more than 72 hours since he has had the National Guard on the DC streets. And be clear that he has not gotten any Congress approval as of yet to keep them on the street. So he is already out of bounds. Already out of bounds. So therefore, this lawsuit is on point. Let's continue
into it right now. So, first and foremost, as I noticed, this lawsuit is brought in federal court in the District of Columbia. The plaintiff is the District of Columbia. Who is DC suing? Donald Trump, Pamela Jo Bondi, the U.S. Department of Justice, Terrence Cole, the DEA administrator guy, the DEA, Gadaces Serrata, the director of the United States Marshal Service, and the U.S. Marshal Service. Now, here's a quick footnote. Serrata, the reason why Serrata's name is included in this is because Serrata has also been given capacity in this Bondi order and otherwise to be able to basically sub in for the chief of Metro PD. But again, that is not what Section 740 contemplates. This is a complaint for declaratory and injunctive relief. So what do? As we've been talking on our channel here together, we jump to the prayer for relief.
No, they also gave a federal marshal the capacity to override the chief of police. Where did we do any of this at? Where do we do any of this at? I don't know. Let's continue. Ciao.
This is on page 32. And the prayer for relief is important because it tells us again what are the plaintiffs or the plaintiff singularly in this case seeking. Well, DC is seeking that the court stay and vacate that Bondi order as an unlawful final agency action taken by the defendants that are the agency defendants, as in the DOJ, the DEA, the Marshal Service, to issue an order that preliminarily and permanently enjoins or blocks the implementation of the Bondi order, including stopping Cole from assuming any position of command within Metro PD, issue an order preliminarily and permanently enjoining the defendants, all of them, from issuing any future orders or directives to take any other action that attempts to place MPD under the control of anyone other than the mayor of DC and the chief of police, to declare that the agency defendants have violated the Administrative Procedures Act by issuing that Bondi order, and that Section 740 of the Home Rule Act and Trump's executive order don't allow the defendants to even issue this order, the Bondi order, in the first place, to assert operational control over MPD, to assume positions within the chain of command supervising MPD, or to bypass the mayor to direct policies and services of MPD to perform local law enforcement functions. To declare that the executive order and the defendant's actions to implement that executive order, including Bondi's order, violate the separation of powers, the take care clause, and the district clause, and declare that the executive order and any actions that are taken to implement it, including the issuance of Bondi's order, are contrary to the Home Rule Act and the Constitution, because that executive order from Trump on Monday never specified special conditions of an emergency nature with sufficient specificity to determine when those conditions have ended. And this is being brought by the Attorney General for the District of Columbia. So let's go back to the meat of the lawsuit because I want you guys to know what's happening here. The lawsuit begins with a very detailed and comprehensive introduction talking about the fact that more than 50 years ago, Congress empowered the people of the District of Columbia to govern themselves through the DC Home Rule Act. But it gave the president a very limited, narrow role in the governance of DC by way of Section 740 of the Home Rule Act, which we have covered extensively here. And just as a footnote, if you haven't watched my video from yesterday with constitutional law scholar Steve Vladeck, I urge you to go and watch it. Steve does a fantastic job of explaining the historical background behind not only the Home Rule Act and Section 740, but also the very nuanced issue involving the National Guard and DC, and the fact that the president actually has always controlled the National Guard in DC. But let's get back to the lawsuit. Paragraph 3 says very clearly, in the 52 years since the enactment of Home Rule, no president has ever attempted to exercise the limited authority that Trump has now dared to do this past Monday. The president's authority under Section 740 is sharply limited in time. It must terminate within 48 hours unless the president sends proper notice to Congress, and in all events, it must terminate upon the expiration of the emergency or within 30 days, whichever comes first. For the president to obtain MPD services for longer than 30 days, even in the face of an ongoing emergency, Congress must pass a joint resolution permitting the extension. Okay.
None of that
The
has
lawsuit then
happened.
goes on to explain how
None of that has happened. Let's continue.
Trump violated the plain language of Section 740. It walks through the Bondi order. Then it also walks through how the Bondi order violates Section 740, violates the Constitution, violates the Administrative Procedures Act. The Bondi order, this is paragraph 14 on page 5, purports to effect a complete takeover of MPD by the federal government. It purports to suspend MPD policies that defendant Bondi dislikes, impose enforcement policies she favors, and rescind any existing orders that stand in the way. And here's an important,
like the order from the police chief. Let's take a look at the police chief. Hey, outspoken. How are you doing? Let's see who is the police chief of Washington, D.C. Let's see who, not the man in the lower right. This is the police chief. This black woman is the police chief of Washington, D.C. Let's continue.
note. Paragraph 17. By invoking his authority under Section 740, the president has not articulated the nature of the, quote, special and, quote, emergency conditions with the specificity needed to determine when this purported emergency is going to end. And that is required by the Home Rule Act. I mean, people, it does make sense. Logic and common sense would dictate that don't you kind of have to know what the emergency is? It can't just say there's crime, because crime could be ongoing. And that would be the justification in Trump's mind to be able to continue to impose this type of quasi almost martial law, right? Having these troops.
Quasi what? Quasi martial law. Crime could be ongoing, but we know it's ongoing at a 30-year low. We know that they have not specified any outbreak of violent crime in the city, and there's not a big outcry of, oh, the crime in the city is so horrible. We know that the day after Big Balls, who has destined how many million? I think it's 14 million people in Africa who was receiving USAID to actually die. We know that he got punched in the nose by an alleged 15-year-old girl, and the next day the FBI was on the streets, and the day after that the National Guards were on the streets. That's what we do know. The 19-year-old Big Balls, who should be questioned for his crimes because he was allegedly so drunk and was leaving a bar when it happened, who was not supposed to be served any alcohol, who was trying to save his car. So you mean Big Balls was so drunk that he let a 15-year-old girl hit him in the nose and bloody his nose up, and he was on his way to his car to drive somewhere, and y'all don't have no questions about none of that. There's no questions about none of that. A 19-year-old. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little piece of that so you can be clear on what is going on. You see that there has been a lawsuit taking out. Hey, Lee, brand new. Have we never had a president to be sued this much ever. It seems worse to me. The parents of the kids should go to jail. What seems worse to you? I always have said there is no reason for no 15-year-olds to be out at 3 o'clock in the morning. That should be questioned as well. There should be something done about that as well. Now, I don't know if your child is out late. Is that the normal? Is that the normal thing that would happen to your child? Being out at 3 in the morning. If that's normal, hey, the normal consequences should be the normal consequences for the parents whose child is out at that time and getting into you live in the crime. I live in the DMV. It's ridiculous here. Well, all of the indicators are saying that and these are state and federal indicators, are saying that the crime is at all-time low, tens of years lower than it has been. So I'm just going. I don't live in D.C. I'll take your word for it. You say you're not used to it. Have you always lived in D.C. and or have you moved to DC and it's like shocking to you? Is which one is it, Outspoken? I'm not, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just giving the information. You sent me something. Okay. I didn't see it. I'll check on it. But I want to know if you've always been in DC. You were born in the DMV. Okay, so that's Outspoken. It says that it's out of control, but the statistics say that it's going down. I have to take her word for what she says as well. So I am going to show you how the out the I'm going to show you the outcome of this lawsuit. They have already. Trump instantly folds. Oh, here we go. This is the Midas Touch Network. It says Trump administration back downs on DC police control after striking a deal. I don't think this is the one that I want, though. Let's
negotiate today. Trump administration just caved because a federal judge, Judge Anna Reyes, told them that if they didn't negotiate today at a break in the temporary restraining order hearing about Donald Trump and Pam Bondi's illegal unconstitutional order to decapitate the city government of D.C., decapitate the police department and its leadership, and put an acting commissioner in its place, if they didn't rescind that, if they didn't negotiate with the District of Columbia, with its mayor Muriel Bowser, with its police chief Pam Smith, with its attorney general Brian Schulber, that she was going to enter that injunction. And then miraculously, we have a deal, everybody. And I'm going to tell you who showed up at the last minute to help negotiate that deal and why that matters as well. I'm Michael Popok. You're on the Midas Touch Network and on Legal AF. I've been reporting about Anna Reyes and her ruling and the hearing that she pulled together today at 2 o'clock on an emergency basis all day. And now we have the result. Now let's back up a little bit. How'd we get here? Because earlier in the week, Donald Trump decided that he was going to take over and federalize the D.C. Police Department under a bogus observation that there was some sort of emergency violent issue.
I don't believe that there was I do believe that the emergency issue was bogus because they had if they had some statistics that were different from their regular. These are not these are not Democratic, these are DOJ's own statistics, and they have not come out with any other statistics that counter their own statistics. Let's be clear. These are not just like the Metropolitan PD statistics. These are also DOJ statistics, and they have not come out with anything else to counter their own statistics. So I don't know who they said they were playing with the job numbers, and they fired the woman who reported the statistics on the job numbers and put in place someone from the Heritage Foundation, a author of Project 2025, who said that they may not even put out job numbers but 4 times a year. So who's playing with numbers here? The numbers are the numbers. If you have different numbers to counter what your own DOJ put out, then put those numbers out. But just don't blow no smoke up my ass talking about there's been a sudden increase in crime because big balls got beat up. That's what I'm saying. Why should the whole fucking Why should all of Washington, D.C. be under police and control, under military control, because a little smart racist motherfucker got punched in the fucking nose? That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna say anything is I'm not gonna I don't live there. I'm not gonna say that the statistics have been altered, because nobody has come up with any other statistics but the ones that they are working on. And they're working on their own. The Department of Justice that Pam Bondi is over with, if the statistics are wrong, how come she didn't come out with some right statistics? That's all I got to say about that. I'm just basing it on they always say this is happening, but they have never proven any of this is true.
DC. What was the reason he did it? Yeah, to distract attention from a 3-day trial in San Francisco about his takeover of the California National Guard. So he decided to hold a press conference that same day because his 19-year-old staffer named Big Balls got jumped by a bunch of 14-year-olds. I'm not making this up. And therefore, he declared that he was going to exercise his right. The problem is that Congress controls what happens in the District of Columbia by way of Article 1 of the Constitution, the District Clause, that says that Congress, not the president, has control. And they, in 1973, passed a law, the Home Rule Act, that said that D.C. gets self-governance. What D.C. really wanted was statehood. But they got self-governance. They got a mayor. They got a council. They got a police department. They get to have local issues controlled and handled by local people on the ground and not have to answer to the president of the United States or to Congress. And that's what they didn't want. So since 1973, no one's ever challenged that. There is a provision that Congress built into the Home Rule Act under Section 740 that said if the President of the United States needs assistance, he can ask and he shall get from the mayor the police department's assistance. So it's a demand, if you will, to the mayor to provide police support for something. That's different than what Donald Trump did. Pam Bondi just last night issues her own sort of executive order, the Bondi order, in which she says that the mayor is out of power, effectively, when it comes to policing, that the police chief, Pam Smith, she's to be ignored, that they were appointing a new acting commissioner to replace the police commissioner, and that all decisions about policing in D.C. were to be made by this acting commissioner. This acting commissioner, who is the Terry Cole, who is the current head of the drug enforcement agency. So decapitate the mayor, decapitate the police chief, stick in Terry Cole to run. That's not what Section 740 says. So it gets before on an emergency complaint and injunction brought by the Attorney General for D.C., the Attorney General that really matters in D.C., not named Pam Bondi, the one that represents the District of Columbia. So Brian Schwab's office brings this motion. And he also gives direction to the mayor to ignore the order, that it's invalid and ignore it, and that she's to continue along with the police chief to run that police department, Metropolitan Police Department. So it shows up today with Judge Anna Reyes. Bad pick for Donald Trump, by the way. Anna Reyes from Uruguay, raised in Kentucky, went to Harvard Law School, appointed by Biden. She's the judge that excoriated and fried the Department of Justice about their arguments related to trying to get transgender Americans out of the military. She said it was depraved. She said it was dishonest. She said it was just dripping with animus. It was so bad for the government that they actually filed a judicial complaint, an ethics complaint against Anna Reyes because they didn't like the way she was conducting her courtroom. Because they didn't like the fact that during that hearing, when the justification for transgender was, oh, they're dishonest, they're disloyal, they can't be trusted. She says, what if I passed a rule that everybody from the University of Virginia Law School is dishonest, can't be trusted, and I didn't allow them in my courtroom? And sit down, sir, you're from the University of Virginia. How would you like that? Well, they didn't like that at all, so they filed that complaint against her. So I said earlier, you might see a motion to disqualify or recuse Reyes because they already filed a complaint against her. But the hearing starts at 2 o'clock. And after about 45 minutes to an hour, it's clear, the writing on the wall, that DC's going to lose. I know there's been pundits on CNN. I always watch Ellie Honig sometimes. I have to tell you, he's always wrong. Sorry, Ellie. You're not right a lot. He said, I think DC's barking up the wrong tree. I think they'll sustain the president exercising control over the police department. I'm like, where is that in Section 740? Section 740 says you can make the request, the demand on the mayor to make requests to the police. That's what it says. And that has to last for 48 hours, no longer than 30 days, unless there's a joint proclamation by Congress. And we don't have any of that. So the judge today starts grilling the Department of Justice, Yakov Roth and other people that are in front of her about it. Like, can we all agree that this can only last 30 days without a judicial proclamation? I mean, a congressional proclamation of the joint houses? Yes, we agree to that. We have no reason to believe that that's not the case. Okay. I don't know how you can make the argument, she said to the lawyers, before she sent them off to go settle the case. I don't know how, Department of Justice, you can argue that 740 doesn't mean what it says, that the president can just declare an emergency and just lop off the heads of the police and the mayor and take over the police department. Where does it say he can do that? It says the opposite in 740. And so I think you have a tough case here. She made it clear before, as only a very good judge would do, before she told both parties to go in the hallway or in a room and negotiate a resolution. But she also let them bargain in the shadow of her ruling, her tentative ruling. She basically made what's called a tentative ruling, we call it out in California. She told them, I'm going to rule against the Department of Justice. I'm going to enter a temporary restraining order against the Department of Justice. I'm going to give you one last chance to negotiate it for yourself, to come up with but I'm going to rule against you if you come back here and tell me you can't make a ruling. You can't make it.
Okay, so then they bent the knee. They walked away with their files hung low, and they did what they were supposed to have done. So let me share this with you guys. There is a hidden. If you guys didn't know that there is also a. Let's get back to the Epstein thing. All of this was to get away from the Epstein situation. All of this was to get away from Congress has now asked for the documentation that the Bureau of Prisons had signed to release a convicted pedophile to be put in a Camp Cupcake prison, because that is usually against the Department of Prisons guidelines that someone convicted of that type of stuff can never be put into a low security prison. So you have Congress asking the Department of Justice to release documentation about the release of Ghislaine Maxwell into that Camp Cupcake prison. And also there now, this administration says that they are the most transparent administration ever, but story broke that there is a hidden indictment that exposes more on Jeffrey Epstein, an indictment that was never unsealed because he passed away before they brought forth this indictment, and it is alleged that there is much more information. And who has this sealed indictment? None other than the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice that wanted to put the police on the backs of black citizens. The Department of Justice that used the boogeyman black man as a distraction to get away from the fact that Gavin Newsom also has them in court the same day that she put the same day that they put the military force, I always forget their name. the same time that they put the military out on the DC streets is the first day of their court case about putting the military out on the streets of California. So the kill the story. Remember, 45, 47 was allegedly always paying money to kill stories, to kill tabloid stories. He was always accused of killing stories. And so let's get back to the Epstein situation of it all. Here we go. Let's talk about this hidden indictment on Epstein. Hey, Bird. So let's get back to what we are trying to cover up. And the thing about it is, the 45, 47 gave orders to crack heads. So if you're buying into all of this, it is so because they say it is so. It's not about your feelings. It is about facts. It is absolutely about the facts. Now, he also talked about Baltimore was so bad that you don't even want to talk about Baltimore. In the same way, Outspoken One has her opinion about the DMV. Miss Toby has an absolute different opinion about the DEC. They said how the crime rate is at a 30-year low. I think it's a 30-year low in Baltimore as well. And Miss Toby got up here and she concurred. So that's why the facts matter. Just because they said that there was a big a string of cases of lawlessness in DC, they haven't presented one fact to upstand that. The lawlessness in DC was so bad that I did a story on the first night that they were out there. There was a white guy who had on a pink shirt and some gray pants, and he had like 14 cops around him on their first night of reducing crime in DC, and I didn't know what he was arrested for at the time. Come to find out, that was the guy who was calling them fascists and get out of the city and all of this type of stuff. And then he took his Subway sandwich and he flung it in the chest of somebody who had on a bulletproof vest. He did assault a police officer. He did batter a police officer. That is a charge of battery. But Janine Piero came out and made such a big thing of it and said that we are going to prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law, and that he's facing up to 8 years in jail and this, that, and the other. And he was now, I thought that they were going to do something about these heinous people who go out here and commit crimes. I thought that 45, 47 said that people are spitting in the police officers' faces, and if you hit, we're going to hit back. They have the ability to crack skulls. They didn't even arrest this white a man in a pink shirt and gray pants. They didn't even have him get on the ground and in a prone position. They did none of that. They put the handcuffs on him standing up. He was able to go home that night. I thought that they wanted to stop these criminals from going home with this no cash bails and all of that. None of that happened to this white guy. But they did try to charge him with a felony. So he went to court. The judge said this is bullshit. He's released on his own recognizance. So he could be facing the maximum. They said you cannot charge for a felony for this. This is a misdemeanor battery. And so we'll see what happens to him as he goes to court. But let me share this with you about this hidden indictment.
Uh-oh, Donald. We are now learning that there is a secret indictment of Jeffrey Epstein that was never unsealed and made public because Epstein allegedly died by suicide. And so the indictment was never made public, and Epstein was never actually prosecuted because he allegedly died by suicide. But this is an over 50-page criminal indictment that was prepared by the Department of Justice at the time, before Donald Trump obviously destroyed the Department of Justice, which he did now with Pam Bondi. And it may have a roadmap to not only Epstein's sex trafficking crimes, but also Epstein's co-conspirators. Could this secret indictment, which nobody's seen before, it has never been released and is currently in the Department of Justice and FBI's possession, could it hold a roadmap and a key to also learning how Epstein used Mar-a-Lago to sex traffic underage girls like Virginia Giuffre, who was sex trafficked in or around 2000 and 2001 when she was a 17-year-old girl working at the Mar-a-Lago spa. And Donald Trump said that Epstein stole her from the spa and stole potentially other girls from the spa. I'm sure you know that during Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal trial, facts about underage girls at Mar-a-Lago were discussed. Virginia Giuffre being sex trafficked after being taken by Epstein from Mar-a-Lago, to use Donald Trump's despicable language, but also a 14-year-old girl, Jane Doe, who Epstein and Ghislaine, victim, brought to Mar-a-Lago. And according to the 14-year-old girl in a civil case, Epstein said, "Do you like this one, Donald? Look at this one that I'm bringing you," or words to that effect. Is that in this secret 50-plus page indictment that is currently in the Department of Justice and FBI's possession? So one of the easiest things that the DOJ and FBI could do tomorrow, which they should have done months and months and months ago, why don't you just release that 50-page plus indictment that was going to be filed against Epstein, but was never, because he allegedly died by suicide? And why don't we start with that document? We know the DOJ and the FBI have in their possession and custody over 300 gigabytes or more of videos and photos and FBI interviews and other witness statements and logs and a ton of other stuff that was confiscated from Epstein's various homes and from Ghislaine. That stuff the FBI and the DOJ could have released months ago. That has nothing.
No, but the judge says we can't release the grand jury transcript. The judge said we must. What about these activists?
To do with grand jury
there are no activist judges. The grand jury transcript is not going to release a smither, a nail clipping worth of information that you have at your disposal, since you're so transparent. Did they mention this other unsealed grand jury case? No, indictment? No, they didn't mention any of this. They said now there has been a statement put out that they will not be releasing anything else about Jeffrey Epstein. So there's that. The link is in my description box. Go over there and check out the Midas Touch. Hey, Diana K. Yes, cash apps are appreciated. I think my goal period is over. If you learned something here that you did not know, please feel welcome to hit my goals. So let's talk about all the crime that they are stopping. We heard that one person was arrested by ICE with that big show at Gavin Newsom event on yesterday in California. And it's funny. Okay, so crime is so horrible in DC. Crime is so horrible in DC that we got the FBI, the Homeland Security, ICE, the regular police force out there, the park police out there. And because crime is at an all-time high in Washington, D.C. So these days that all of these people have been out here, we have seen we have seen people being accosted on their porch, sitting on their personal porches, smoking cigarette, being accosted and giving this whole spiel and talking about they smell marijuana because the man is smoking a cigarette. That has really gone viral. All of these people and telling these people, well, you can't be smoking outside because Trump is sick of it and all of this. A man smoking a cigarette on his own porch. Okay, okay. So we got a whole lot of buffoons working for these administrations that they refuse to say if they are doing the background checks on these people that they are hiring in ICE. They refuse to say if they're doing the traditional background checks since they have dropped the age of the people. They have dropped the age. They did want people. I forget what was the lowest age, but they have also dropped the age requirement as in how old you can be to be an ICE officer. And it's not clear if they're doing the extensive background checks that they had been doing because they have a influx of money and they want an influx of people. Hey, Jackson Street, it's good to see you. And they want a influx of people to take these positions. So, there's that. So my point is, with all of these extra people on the street to combat all of this crime, why is it the average arrests prior to this were something like 50 something 58 people per night, and since all of this police force and FBI and all of these other agencies have been on the streets, the arrests are around 30 something arrests. So, if you think that crime people I guess somebody gonna say, oh well, they quit committing crime because all those police people are out there and all of this. How many innocent people have been arrested? How many people have been arrested by regular police officers for giving them attitude, and then them wind up being thrown in jail, and the charges are still held or even dropped? We're talking about arrests. We're talking about arrests. So there's that. There's maybe that's the solution to crime. Some fool would say. I don't know. I'm just saying it don't make no sense. Okay, so I did the hidden indictment. Let's talk about. Let's talk about this. Here we go.
Here. A judge has now agreed that felony charges are not warranted in the case of Sean Dunn. Recently in Washington, D.C., the 37-year-old started yelling at federal law enforcement officers and then went even further to the expletive-filled delight of onlookers.
Motherfucker! Oh! 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 He cooked him! He cooked him!
Police eventually caught Dunn.
He didn't get shot in the back. He didn't get no taser. He didn't even have to lay on the ground. He didn't get shot in the back. He didn't get no taser. He didn't even have to lie on the ground. So the judge said that no, that he definitely cannot be charged with a felony of and get 8 years for that. Now there's something else that I want to show you. Trump. Oh, wait a minute. Now we do know that 4547 met with Vladimir Putin today. So I am going to play something for you because I have not seen this. They're saying that 4547 actually had to almost be assisted off of the stage. So let me find this for you. After Putin blew up something, not a device, blew up. Let me see. Let me see. 4547 rushed off stage after Putin blows up a fake deal. Okay, let's see what this is about. I definitely want to see what this is about. Here we go. Let me share my screen and we can learn together what was the fake deal that was blown up. Let me see. Jack Cochirilla. If you have not subscribed to him, he does some great content as well. Let's get to the story.
Disgraceful summit. I want to start with how Donald Trump kicked off his press conference with praise of Putin.
Today, I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoax that made it a little bit tougher to deal with, but he understood it. I think he's probably seen things like that during the course of his career.
You do understand that Vladimir Putin speaks English. Look at his face when he's talking. Look at his face. You understand that he even though he has this big earpiece in, and look how he's looking at him. We had great what? Look at this shit. Understand that Putin speaks English and he understands exactly what this fool is saying.
Career, he's seen it all, but we had to put up with the Russia hoax. He knew it was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax, but what was done was very criminal. But it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have dealt with. But we'll have a good chance when this is over. So to have that in.
So can somebody explain to me exactly what did this idiot say? Exactly what did he say of substance of anything? You were supposed to be talking about the war, and this is your introduction into your stopping the war between Ukraine, Russia, the Russia, and we weren't able to do. You were in office for 4 years, and you weren't able to do what? Well, you weren't able to do many things, and what the fuck is he talking about? Let's continue.
The future. Let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon.
Vladimir Putin does not care about stopping the slaughter of Ukrainians.
Exactly. I want to see this press conference. It was going on. It had just started right when I had my live set. That's why I set it back 15 minutes. And then, of course, these motherfuckers were late, so I had no read on this.
Right here
meeting.
In their press conference.
I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities. And I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good, businesslike, and trustworthy contact. And I have every reason to believe that moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you.
This was really just a trade between Trump and Putin, not in the interest of Ukraine, of course, but in soothing their egos, promoting
next time in Moscow
from the press conference.
Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
However, this joint news conference was anything but. It was not a news conference. There were no questions taken by either leader. There were many yelled by reporters there, but we don't have a sense of what exactly is in this agreement or this deal.
The most important detail of this entire day is what Vladimir Putin said at the end. The next time it'll be in Russia. The next time Donald Trump is going to further validate, going to further suck up to Putin.
I didn't see him getting help off the stage. What the fuck was that? What exactly was that? Let me see.
Okay. So he's going to walk if it doesn't. He was in Washington, D.C., and he chatted it up with Fox News. Watch.
We're going for a meeting with President Putin in Alaska, and I think it's going to work out very well. And if it doesn't, I'm going to head back home real fast.
I mean, if it doesn't, you walk.
I would walk too.
Okay. So he's going to walk if it doesn't go well. Walking out of the meeting would be the latest in a series of Trump threats having to do with Vladimir Putin, none of which he's followed through on. Remember, first, he said he'd end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. When that did not happen, he did his classic in 2 weeks routine, which never resulted in anything. Late last month, he issued a deadline of 10 or 12 days to cease hostilities. After that, he set a deadline for August 8th. Now today, which happens to be August 15th, we are where we are, left to guess what is happening inside this high-stakes meeting and any prospect of peace. It's where we start today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. In Anchorage, Alaska, international affiliate correspondent for the Associated Press, Philip Crowther, is here. Also with us, former U.S. ambassador to Russia, MSNBC international affairs analyst, Ambassador Michael McFaul is here. Also joining us, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General Mark Hertling is here as well. Ambassador McFaul, let me start with you and just what we can see with our own eyes, because I think both these men speak at least to their own publics about not believing what you see and hear. But these are two of the human beings most acutely aware of iconography and images and pictures. And this seems like a red carpet that was placed there on purpose. This seems like a choreographed arrival where Trump couldn't really defer enough to Vladimir Putin. He held on Air Force One to wait for him to land so they could have this moment together. This is more laughing and chuckling and touching than I think I've seen Trump engage in with any of our allies. And then he hops in the beast. And if not unheard of, it's exceedingly rare. Your thoughts about what we have seen with our own eyes?
Extraordinary. To all of those points you just said, this rarely happens to any leader in the world, our closest allies, let alone to a dictator, an imperialist, the first leader since Hitler and Stalin.
We do understand that Vladimir Putin is also a war criminal.
To have invaded countries in Europe and annexed them, the leader who's kidnapped 20,000 children, who terrorizes and kills Ukrainian civilians.
And we realize that in all of these negotiations that they are doing with Putin and all of the things that they are demanding for a ceasefire from Ukraine, there has been no talk of what is going to be done with and how they are going to handle all of these 20,000 or so children who were taken from the Ukraine. These are actual children children who have parents. There has been no talk. They asked 45, 47, what were they going to do about the children, and he said they will have to figure that out, as in Russia and Ukraine will have to figure that out. But what he did have enough chutzpah to try to figure out was how much of the rare earth minerals would go to the United States, but nothing about these 20,000 children. 45, 47 wanted half of Ukrainians' rare earth minerals. Okay. Did he not say more?
Every single night, and yet this treatment is just extraordinary, especially when contrasted to that Oval Office visit that President Zelensky, the democratically elected leader of Ukraine, the way he was humiliated by President Trump just several weeks ago. So I think it raises the ante. I think it raises the bar for President Trump. He gave Putin a meeting. He then, the most powerful man on earth, and you know as well as I do, because we both worked at the White House, the biggest gift, one of the biggest currencies you have working for the United States of America is presidential time. He gave that to him. Then he added to it by bringing him to the United States of America. Now, all of this, including the ride and the beast, I don't know if Putin speaks much English, by the way, but that to me suggests Putin has gotten everything he needs.
Today was a joke, and we were the ones getting laughed at. That's what's
Okay, there was no getting help in the car. I apologize. I saw the headline, so I just decided to go over there and what? Hold on, hold on. Hold on. Okay, let me share Adam Mockler with you. The moment that American became a laughingstock, he hasn't gotten to it, but let's find out together. Viral photos uncovers Trump's dark humiliation ritual.
Not argue against that, but my point is, this photo right here lost us so much legitimacy. And let me tell you exactly what it is about it. First of all, the White House official Twitter account posted not long ago, "Pursuing peace." That's the caption they used, with a photo of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin standing in front of a backdrop that says "Pursuing peace." I responded and said, Putin is actively slaughtering civilians and children. He has invaded Ukraine multiple times. What a despicable post coming from the White House Twitter account. This doesn't legitimize Putin, it delegitimizes us. And that will be the through line as I make this video. The moment that Putin got off of the plane, Donald Trump was standing there clapping like an idiotic child. Like, oh, I can't wait to see my buddy Vladimir Putin.
Oh, wow.
Then Putin walks up. They shake hands, they greet, they kiss each other on the cheek. No, they don't kiss each other, but they might as well have with the way that this is going. They immediately begin going back and forth. And this brings me on to the photo that I really want to talk about because it's going viral for all of the wrong reasons. See, Donald Trump's view of foreign policy is so infantile that he thinks Putin is just like him. Trump genuinely believes that Putin is just as petty and narcissistic as Trump is. And he's sort of right. Putin is a narcissist, but he's also smarter. So Trump thinks that if he just treats Putin like a king, if he literally, not even figuratively, if he literally rolls out a red carpet, maybe he'll...
Are those our soldiers on their knees rolling out the red carpet for a dictator who has attacked our allies, and he treated the president who was attacked like trash? Let's continue.
Give me what I want. It is toddler.
And let's not forget that the propped up by Peter Thiel, billionaire J.D. Vance said that if they are unable to make an agreement, then we're out of there. If they can't make an agreement, we're out of there. We're tired of spending so much money. And let's not forget also that 4547 said that from now on, people from the EU, the European Union, will be paying full price for any weapons that they get from us, which means that would also mean Zelensky, who was invaded by this one who he's rolling the red carpet out for. I just hope you guys are clear on the visuals of what this means to some people who know that this is ridiculous.
Level negotiation. Like Trump's thought process is maybe if I'm nice enough to him, he'll give me what I want. I was going to say it's pathetic, but it's not even pathetic. It's dangerous, and it's the same type of groveling that makes America weak, a joke, and terrible. So instead of confronting a dictator who has waged an illegal war on their smaller neighbor who is our ally, instead of standing on the side of actual freedom, Donald Trump staged a photo op. And in this photo right here, this is so disgusting. This is a traitorous action from Donald Trump. You see multiple U.S. soldiers, I believe I see 3 right there, on their knees, rolling out the red carpet for war criminal Vladimir Putin. And of course, nothing against these soldiers. They're just following commands. Marco Rubio, Steve Witkoff, all of these people have failed us. They are genuinely traitors for rolling out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin. And to continue, Scott Jennings from CNN posted this clip of, fighter jets flying over Putin and Trump as they
Now, Scott Jennings, we know that Scott Jennings is the Trump sycophant who is always on Abby Phillips' program. I hope he bought some backup pants. Why would he need backup pants? Why does he need backup pants, Scott Jennings? I hope you brought some fucking pants that don't even have a zipper, easier to pull down so you can bend over for 45, 47 to pump and dump in you. Let's continue.
walk down the red carpet. And conservatives are trying to act like this was some badass moment to scare Putin. But it wasn't. They're walking down the red carpet. Putin shouldn't even be here. They're sitting there laughing in the Beast, which is the car that the president owns, right there. They're sitting there laughing together. There's no badass moment here, but Scott Jennings says, I hope he brought some backup pants, talking about Putin. I said, the way Putin is smiling, they'll both need backup pants. Right here, we see the layout before the planes landed. And right here, we see the moment that Donald Trump got off of Air Force One, followed by Putin 1 minute later. So again, this is not diplomacy whatsoever. It's actually quite the opposite. I've been arguing with people all day online. Someone named...
Okay, that's all. That's all I have for you on that. Now, let me share some more. If you guys didn't know, it doesn't seem like there has been any type of ceasefire agreement. That's all we got. That's all we got in from them. Now, let's talk about 4547 and the lunatic Laura Loomer. Let me share my screen with you about this is a good little this is actually a commercial for the group let me see, is this it? I think this is it. Hold on, where is it? Where is it? I have it pulled up, I just don't see it. Oh, there it is, right there. Here it is. Trump cozies up to racist far-right conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer. If you're not familiar with that, this story, let's talk.
Who says 9/11 was an inside job. Her name is Laura.
He took her to the 9/11 tribute last year.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. The country just marked the 23rd anniversary of the 9/11 attacks on America that killed 3,000 people. Donald Trump attended a remembrance ceremony in Lower Manhattan. And as his guest, the ex-president brought a conspiracy theorist who says 9/11 was an inside job. Her name is Laura Loomer, and she joined Trump and running mate J.D. Vance as they took photos with firefighters. You cannot make this up. You really wouldn't want to. It's heinous, also sadly unsurprising. For almost a decade now, Donald Trump has used his political platform to channel the worst, most vile, discredited, and disgusting rhetoric, ideas, and people, and mainstream them into American culture. From reposting Nazi trolls during his 2016 campaign, to defending some of the torch-carrying, sig-hailing neo-Nazis as very fine people in Charlottesville when he was president, to whipping up violent far-right gangs and extremist militias like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Trump has dined with neo-Nazis, courted Holocaust deniers, and endorsed conspiracy theorists of all stripes. In fact, just today, get this, NPR reported that a Nazi sympathizer who served 3 years in prison for storming the Capitol on January 6th was an honored guest at 2 different events at Trump's Bedminster Golf Resort. And yes, that is the photograph of the alleged Nazi sympathizer, if you want to take that in. At one of those events, a fundraiser for the January 6 criminals, Trump addressed the crowd by video, saying, all of the people there, that includes the man you see there on your screen, all of the people there, you're amazing patriots, have a great time at Bedminster. Hope that guy had a good time. Trump has also forged a bond with far-right billionaire troll Elon Musk, saying that if he's elected, he'll put Musk in charge of a government efficiency commission. And this week, when pop star Taylor Swift endorsed Trump's opponent, Musk responded by posting the creepiest, truly unsettling sexist taunt to her on social media platform he owns. Trump cleaves to the absolute worst, most dangerous people. If he becomes president again, it's going to be even worse. Laura Loomer is Exhibit A. The two seem to be rather inseparable lately, spending a lot of time together. That's her coming off his private plane. In addition to being his 9/11 guest, she accompanied Trump to Tuesday's debate in Philadelphia. She's been seen with him in his Bedminster Club, and her name has been on Trump's lips for much of this year.
A friend of all of ours, and this woman is amazing. Laura Loomer. Where is she? Where's Laura? She is amazing. A fantastic woman, a true patriot, Laura Loomer. Laura, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. It's great to have you, and you've been really very special. You work hard, and you are a very opinionated lady. I have to tell you that, and in my opinion, I like that.
Well, I
appreciate all of your support, and you've been terrific, and everybody appreciates you. So
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to sit with you today. It's a pleasure. You're the best. I love you.
It's a cute video. Like, they genuinely seem to really like each other. Now, many Republicans are expressing concern to reporters about Loomer's closeness to Trump, which you can see for yourself. Everyone who works for him thinks she's a liability, one Trump ally said. Others have told reporters that Loomer has contributed to some of the most outrageous conspiracy theories Trump is now using as campaign fodder. Now, even in the very large pantheon of Trump sycophants, Loomer is a chilling figure. A history of racist and Islamophobic comments. She first gained notoriety for chaining herself to the door of a Twitter office in New York to protest the website banning her after she spread false conspiracy theories about multiple mass shootings. Before that ban, Loomer also tweeted hateful bile about immigrants, responding to a news story about thousands of migrants dying while trying to cross the Mediterranean to safety. She posted, quote, "Good, clapping emoji, here's to 2,000 more." After Elon Musk bought Twitter, Loomer was, surprise, surprise, reinstated on the platform. That's where she called 9/11 an inside job last year, arguing that Donald Rumsfeld helped stage it to take over the national security bureaucracy. Twitter is also where this past summer, Loomer called Kamala Harris a drug-using prostitute. Around that time, as Donald Trump was praising her at rallies, what a patriot, Loomer also called for the death of Trump's perceived political enemies.
She also uses this ghetto voice when she's saying dumb shit allegedly as Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris. She called Kamala Harris Curry LaQuisha or something to that effect. Now 4547, I will let you watch the rest on your own. This is in my description box. I will let you watch the rest on my own. Remember, she flew to the debate that he had with Harris. She was on his private phone, private plane, which made Bill Maher make a joke that he thought that 4547 was actually screwing Laura Loomer. So Laura Loomer deposition, she decided to sue Bill Maher. Her deposition has come out. She is going back and forth with Marjorie Taylor Greene, with just a whole lot of under in your pants comments, talking about the roast beef in her pants that she did not keep to herself, as she was basically, I'm paraphrasing, screwing every man that she could when she got elected to Congress, even though she was married. So they are having a back and forth. But her deposition with Bill Maher has come out, and Laura Loomer also, after it came out, and people start talking about why is this racist this close to a 45, 47, and then he distanced himself from her. Lord have mercy. He pushed her off. Now it has been alleged that in 2023, while he was campaigning, he guaranteed her a position in this White House if he won. They even sat down and talked to Susie Wiles about this. So let's see what she had to say in her deposition with Bill Maher. A whole loon job. She also was instrumental in getting the NIS person fired when that Signal group chat that was connected to a reporter was revealed. She had him fired. It was upon her discretion, and now she is back in the White House. They say she is a prolific doxer, and she comes up with all types of true or false accusations, and she has 47's ear. So let's look at these MAGA women who has his ear.
Donald Trump's favorite MAGA influencer and top MAGA advisor, Laura Loomer, has sued liberal comedian and political commentator Bill Maher for defamation. But during the deposition in which Loomer was questioned by attorneys under oath, we learned many crazy things, including the fact that Trump offered her a job in 2024 if he won the election. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go.
Hey,
all right, folks. It involves Laura Loomer. It involves Donald Trump. So it's going to be crazy, I think, just by definition. But this article is stunning. It comes courtesy of Mediaite. The 5 wildest moments from Laura Loomer's roller coaster Bill Maher defamation case deposition. And I'm telling you, wild shit. Okay, so let's get into it. Laura Loomer recently sat for a deposition pertaining to her defamation lawsuit against HBO's Bill Maher, who suggested Loomer might be having an affair with Donald Trump in September of last year after Loomer accompanied Trump to his one and only presidential debate with Vice President Kamala Harris. It went how you might expect. Number 1, Loomer was offered a job by Donald Trump himself in 2023. According to Loomer, a self-styled white nationalist who has celebrated the drowning deaths of migrants in the Mediterranean Sea, Trump himself tried to hire her to work on his campaign back in 2023. Quote, I was actually told that I was going to be working for President Trump when he hired me in his office in March of 2023 during a private meeting with him and Susie Wiles at Mar-a-Lago. And this was during the primary. And Trump had actually instructed Susie to onboard me to do research and research and perhaps assist with communications as well in the primary, explained Loomer, who said a New York Times story about her ended up sinking her chances of landing a job with the campaign. Quote, and the president was very impressed by just how well-versed I was, and he was very impressed by my reporting and by my understanding of political affairs. And so he said he wanted to hire me on the spot, even though it was not a job interview, end quote. That's number 1. Donald Trump in the primary wanted to hire white nationalist and racist Laura Loomer. The second of the top 5 wildest moments, Trump offered her a job 1 year later in 2024 after the primary. After being asked if she'd ever been offered a job by Trump or members of his staff again, Loomer answered in the affirmative, recalling that Trump had told her, quote, you're coming to D.C. with me, and that she, quote, had conversations with Susie Wiles that I would have a position at the White House after the election if Donald Trump won, end quote. Quote, I was promised a position multiple times, not just by Donald Trump, but also by Susie Wiles, she asserted. Now, for context, Susie Wiles is Donald Trump's chief of staff. The chief of staff runs the executive office of the president, basically runs the White House. They're effectively the second most powerful person in the federal government. They're like the prime minister, the closest thing we have one here in the United States. So according to Loomer, she was offered not just a job by Trump in 2024, who's notoriously fickle, but by the much less fickle and much more sane Susie Wiles. So if what she's saying is true, and one assumes it is because she's testifying under, depositions are conducted under oath. You can't perjure yourself in a deposition. That means that even though the worst things about Laura Loomer were well known at the time, that both Trump and his chief of staff were totally comfortable with offering her a job. Yikes. Number 3, Loomer foresaw a lucrative media career after serving Trump. After serving Trump in the White House, Loomer believed she would be well set up to enjoy a cushy, lucrative media career, perhaps on TV. Check out this exchange between Loomer and HBO lawyer Catherine Bolger. So other than your claim that the reporting about your response to Mr. Maher stopped you from traveling on the airplane and you say getting a job in administration, is there any other financial damage that was caused by Maher reporting? So Laura Loomer contends that Bill Maher making fun of Laura Loomer and suggesting that she was in an extramarital affair with Trump is what cost her the job in the Trump administration, thus the defamation. Loomer. As I said before, I would have been paid much more than I was making previously, and who knows what I could have parlayed having that on my resume into in the future. There are people that go on who work for the administrations who get to go work at boards. There's people that get to have foundations. They get to go to work in future administrations. They get to, get paid for speaking engagements once they leave their official role with the federal government. You don't know. There's people that write books. There's people that get to go become Fox News contributors. They become contributors on mainstream media. Look at somebody like Jen Psaki or Karine Jean-Pierre, for example. They both have shows. Karine Jean-Pierre just announced a book deal today. So when you work for an administration, once the person is out of office or once you're done with your job, you could parlay that into a lot of speculative opportunities. Now, Jen Psaki and Karine Jean-Pierre are former press secretaries for President Biden. Jen Psaki does have a show on MSNBC. Karine Jean-Pierre, as far as I know, does not have a show anywhere, but she is indeed writing a book. Bolger, the attorney, says speculative opportunities. Loomer says it's not speculative. It really is. It's compounding is what it is. It's compounding damages. It's punitive damages. Okay. So as disturbing as Loomer confirming that she was offered a job by Trump in 2023 and 2024 to go to the White House, as bad as that is,
we do understand that she is in the White House at this moment. Thanks for joining the live stream. Please remember to click the like button, share and subscribe, and make a comment in the post.
Is weirder. Not as bad, obviously, but weirder and more unhinged in that number 4, I think we're at number 4 at this point, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Arby's. Brace yourselves. Okay. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and Loomer recently reignited their feud, which began last September when Loomer suggested that the White House would, quote, smell like curry if Vice President Kamala Harris defeated Trump in a post on X.
The White House would smell like curry if a Harris won. Let's continue.
Quote, this is appalling and extremely racist. It does not represent who we are as Republicans or MAGA. It does not represent Donald Trump. This type of behavior should not be tolerated ever, declared Greene in a...
Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, of all people, surprisingly took offense to Loomer, saying that the White House would smell like curry if Harris was elected. Marjorie Taylor Greene, her craziness shakes out once and twice a year. So now they are in a whole vulgar coochie match. Let's continue.
Quote tweet of Loomer. Yes, it is extremely racist, and it is appalling. Of course, I have a hard time taking MTG at face value because she's a well-known anti-Semite, and she says a lot of unhinged shit. But on the merits of what she said, absolutely true. What she said about Laura Loomer, absolutely true. Loomer responded by mocking Greene for her infidelity and referencing the Arby's in your pants. That led to the following discussion between her and Bolger in their deposition. Bolger, can you explain to me what it means to say to her that, quote, the Arby in her pants? Larry Klayman, Laura Loomer's attorney. Objection, relevancy. Bolger, answer the question. Loomer, Arby's sells roast beef. Bolger, right. Can you tell me why you were talking about the Arby's in her pants? Loomer, well, it's just an expression. Bolger, what is the expression trying to convey? Loomer, it conveys the reason why she got a divorce by her own admission. Bolger, because she had roast beef in her pants? Loomer, yeah. Bolger, she put roast beef in her pants? That's what you're trying to say there? You're literally saying that she put Arby's in her pants? Loomer, I'm saying it's so ridiculous. I'm saying she literally put Arby's in her pants. Yes. Objection. Relevancy, says Klayman. It went on like that for some time. So, spoiler alert, she's obviously referring to Marjorie Taylor Greene's vagina. It's a derogatory term about Marjorie Taylor Greene's genitals. So, again, really unhinged to talk about in a deposition. Well, speaking of unhinged parts of the deposition and genitals, we get to number 5, and it's even more unhinged. You're a coward. At one point, Bolger attempted to get Loomer to admit that she was talking about Harris's vagina when she tweeted that Harris had an, quote, infested snatch. But Loomer refused, causing Bolger to blow up on her. Bolger, you wrote a sentence saying that she had an, quote, infested snatch. What is your basis? Loomer, I don't know what I was referring to, honestly. I could be referring to Kamala Harris herself. Bolger, what? Of course you're referring to Kamala Harris.
Now, that's defamation itself against Harris. Infected snatch. That's defamation. Now, all of a sudden, she don't know what she was talking about. Now, so she defames no one, but someone has defamed her and prevented her from getting a job on, of course, Fox News, and now they have News Nation, but she could have made plenty of money. But it's okay for her to say the most egregious things about black women. Let's continue.
Loomer, yeah, I'm talking about Kamala Harris herself. Bolger, you're talking about her body. You're talking about her vagina? Loomer, no, I was just talking about Kamala Harris. Bolger, well, snatch is a vagina, isn't it? Loomer, it's up for interpretation. Bolger, you wrote, stop talking. You wrote a tweet that says that Kamala Harris had an, quote, infested snatch. Now, be the First Amendment warrior you claim to be and admit that you were saying that the Vice President of the United States had an infested vagina. Admit it, because that's what you were doing and everybody knows it. Claiming, let's say it. This is Loomer's attorney. Loomer, this is coercion. You just told me to stop talking. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to be coerced. You're asking me to say something. Bolger, God, you're a coward. Loomer, that isn't true. I'm not a coward. Bolger, you are a coward. You won't even admit to what you did. Loomer, I'm not a coward. I'm just not going to be. Bolger, Ms. First Amendment warrior won't admit it. Yeah, so that's real. Those are real excerpts from a real deposition involving Donald Trump's favorite MAGA influencer and top MAGA advisor in her defamation lawsuit.
Okay, I thought that was interesting. You can Google Laura Loomer and hear some of the vile stuff, the vile accents. Hey Jill, hey no pressure that she puts on. I showed you Benny Johnson and yesterday with all of his some parts of DC should people should be thrown out and it should be bulldozered down. Now I just want to give you a little of this commentary. You guys may need to go over there and check this out. Kyle Kalinske also had something to say at the Secular Talk. MAGA pundit says ethnically cleanse Washington D.C. So he got the same sense of it that I got. I showed you Benny Johnson on yesterday. Don't forget Benny Johnson had a prime seat, was introduced to the White House press pool, was giving a loving, caring introduction by Caroline Lyer, and then he was able to ask a softball first question. So they are quite smitten with Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson also allegedly was one of the 9 or 10 podcasters with large followings, over 1 million, who have gotten gifts from Russia to repeat their Russian talking points a month, over between $100,000 and $300,000 a month. To spread Russian propaganda.
Politics, but come to find out that at the same time his views were going down. Now, as somebody who's in YouTube, he was in a little hot water recently because apparently his YouTube channel was growing at like triple the rate of anybody else on YouTube in politics. But come to find out that at the same time his views were going down. Now, as
sounds like grown folks TV. Sounds like other people over in the B sector who buying views, but that ain't the story.
Somebody who's in YouTube, I can tell you without any doubt whatsoever, that's bullshit. that means there's some inauthentic behavior happening there. Either he's buying
Hey,
bots or
Bird.
there's some weird shit going on where, you know, he's making it look like, oh, my channel's growing at a record pace. But that doesn't happen. If your views are staying the same or going down, your subs are not going to hit, you know, record growth where you're doubling or tripling the closest political person to you. That doesn't happen. So clearly there was some fuckery going on there, and nobody should be surprised because remember, Benny Johnson is the guy who worked with Tenet Media, that company run by Lauren Chen, and they were taking money directly from the Russian government. And so Benny was getting paid through Tenet Media by the Russian government, and he was part of that scandal, along with Tim Pool, along with Dave Rubin, along with Matt Christensen, I believe, and some others. So this is who this guy is. Now, he's also just
Tim Pool. Tim Pool also had a special seat as a White House correspondent who asked a loaded question and put Biden's name in the question 3 or 4 times in this long drawn out bullshit question blaming shit on Biden. Let's continue.
fucking boring. Can we just call it what it is? He's fucking boring. He's like, it's so vanilla. It's so like, just like standard MAGA garbage, just riding Trump's dick on a daily basis. And remember, this guy's also funny enough a closet case. I remember when he tweeted he tweeted this thing that was like, can you believe the ads on this website? And the ad was like some gay singles cruise thing. And people had to reply to him and be like, dude, those are targeted ads, meaning exactly what you think it means. So here he is.
Meaning that they target people who are interested in the content, and if that ad happened to show up in your feed, that means that you have shown interest in something that ad feels that would benefit you. Targeted ads, targeted at their audience. So he decided to watch the ad that came up that was suggested to him and try to make it seem like, oh, look at these gay people. Can you believe this ad? Okay, let's continue.
He's talking about Trump taking over D.C., federalizing D.C., sending in all the federal law enforcement and shit. And of course, he's happy as hell over it because he's a total hack and he believes in nothing. And here's what he ends up saying.
President Trump is doing God's work by refederalizing D.C. By the way, D.C. was set up as a federal city. It's in the Constitution. It's how our founding fathers intended it. These laws are still fully enforceable. They've never been rescinded or amended. President Trump and the executive, through the House of Representatives, controls Washington, D.C. President Trump controls budgets. House of Representatives and Speaker of the House is technically and historically the lead of D.C. That still remains on the books. What happened to D.C., especially during the civil rights period, was that protesters that were bussed up here stayed here. The city was burned to the ground. This happened during massive riots throughout the 60s and 70s.
I did my commentary on this. I'm gonna let him do his commentary on this. If you want to see my commentary on this, I played this on my show on yesterday, and I gave my commentary on all of the bullshit that's being spewed. I just want Kyle to do his share a little bit of what he has to say about some of this stuff.
70s, mass swaths of the city were torched and were never really rebuilt. And so what President Trump is doing is reasserting control of not only our nation's capital, but truly the seat of Western civilization. Just one final little note here that kind of blends outside of the personal, which is that Washington, D.C. is a representation of the work of your forefathers and mine. It is, by every measure, a very beautiful city architecturally. It is a sacred city. It is a sovereign place with the monuments to great men and women who've sacrificed far more than you or I could ever dream for this country.
I lied. It's a representation of your forefathers and mine. He's talking to his white supremacist audience. He's not talking. This is a feed for his audience. And it would not be you as in yours and mine, like this world is your world, this world is mine. No, this land is your land, this land is mine. No, not that your and mine. He's talking to his audience. Let's continue.
It must be
and we're gonna pretend like the black people didn't build all that great architecture and build the Washington D.C. all the greatness that he talks about that belongs to his and your ancestors. He's not talking about black people. See, this is why it is so important. This is why it is so important that people understand their history and pass it down. This is why they're taking history out of the history book. This is why 4547 has taken over the Smithsonian Museum, including the African American museum in DC. He wants to go over every one of their exhibit to make sure that they are upholding his view of history, of American history. Now, can you imagine what his view of American history is? Can you imagine what he doesn't even know about history? He doesn't even know how the government works, much less American history. This is who is taking over history. So, this is the rewriting of history right here in your face. Let's continue.
Served because the peoples of Earth come here by the millions per year in order to witness the success or failures of our systems. And if you are a proud patriot and you love this country and you wish for it to be reflected honorably to the peoples of Earth, then Washington, D.C. must be swept clean. I believe entire neighborhoods probably need to be emptied, need to be bulldozed. I believe that there are places that are so crime-ridden and so infested.
Come again? Come again, one more time.
Patriot, and you love this country and you wish for it to be reflected honorably to the peoples of Earth, then Washington, D.C. must be swept clean.
Swept clean?
I believe entire neighborhoods probably need to be emptied, need to be bulldozed.
Entire neighborhoods need to be emptied and need to be bulldozed. Gee, I wonder who he's talking about when he says, is he talking about the rich white neighborhoods? Do they need to be emptied? Do they need to be bulldozed? Is that what you're talking about? The places with mansions, 6,000 square foot homes, 4,000 square foot homes? Is that what you're talking about? It's not hard to figure out what he means. Emptied and bulldozed. He, of course, is talking about the black areas. He's, of course, talking about the low-income areas. Guys, we've said it before, we'll say it again. You ever heard of the imperial boomerang? That's what we're witnessing here. The imperial boomerang is this notion that whatever the empire does abroad to innocent people, it will eventually come back at home. And that's what this is. That's exactly what this is. Exactly how it's happening in Gaza. Now you got MAGA assholes who are going, let's empty out these neighborhoods and let's bulldoze everything. That's like what's happening in the West Bank, actually, is a better example. Gaza, it's an outright genocide and an ethnic cleansing. But the West Bank is like mission creep. You have people forcibly kick somebody out of the home, take over the home. This is like, so you want to treat D.C. like the West Bank, is what you're telling me. You want to treat D.C. like the West Bank and kick out all the black people, right? Oh my God. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. He's not even hiding it. This is ethnic cleansing. He's calling for ethnic cleansing.
Need to be emptied, need to be bulldozed. I believe that there are places that are so crime-ridden and so infested that you just need to, you're just going to have to crack down.
Violent crime is down like 30%. It's literally at a historic low right now. Historic low. In fact, Trump was bragging in May about how DC crime is at a historic low. Now all of a sudden, it's the worst thing ever. Why? Because he wants to do power for the sake of power, control for the sake of control, fascist takeover for the sake of a fascist takeover.
You're going to have to do the job, and you're going to have to get the crime out of Washington. That's my personal experience. Don't believe the bullshit that you hear online from some reporters. Oh, crime's down in DC. Well,
that's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. And he knows that's a fact. He's lying because that's what he does. He's a paid liar.
My infant nearly died.
I don't believe you.
In a drug fire.
I definitely don't believe you.
After mass shootings.
I definitely. My infant nearly died in a drug.
But my question is, what was his infant doing in a drug den, a drug fire, where gunshots are all around? It's not like he has to be there because of his financial situation. So you mean to tell me that you had your son in a drug den where bullets were flying around? Well, what were you doing? Because you don't have to be there. Unfortunately, some people have to live in these low rent areas, and they have no choice to get out. You know, kind of like those homeless people that they are saying must leave DC, but are offering nothing for them to get out of DC. As offering them nothing to stay in DC, offering them nothing to be anything other than homeless. How is the homeless population just increasing? And the more that the population is increasing, the more that they are vilifying these people who are homeless without having any concrete way. How are all of these people vilifying the homeless? But our federal wages are at $7.45, and nobody is talking about which will get you an apartment in zero city in the United States. Zero cities. So, see, they want to talk about problems, but they don't want to put any money towards the solution of any problems as they continually cut and take from the middle class and the poor, making the middle class poorer and the poorer more destitute. I'm just curious, but this ain't my story. I said I wasn't going to interrupt. I'm going to shut up.
Fire after mass shootings in a crack house where 17 gang members showed up with machine guns and they shot an RPG at our face. Like, what are you doing, bro? What is this? Bro, really? Oh my God. This is so embarrassing. He's got this whole spiel. Look, I'm in Washington, D.C. half the time. It's fine. Like, I don't know. Look, I'm from New York. I know it. New York, certainly when I was growing up, there was definitely more crime at that time, right? You guys know in the 90s, crime was up across the board in the 90s. And there's speculation that's tied to the leaded gasoline that was in the atmosphere, which interesting enough, right? But D.C. is not bad, right? I mean, when I was in
I apologize. I messed that up. Go read listen to the rest of that in my description. But like, no, it's not because of leaded gas. It's for the crack cocaine. It wasn't the leaded gas that had crime up in the 90s. The remnants of the 80s. It was the crack. It was the cocaine that had crime so far up. Now I need to let you see this bitch. I need to let you see this hole right here. Jillian Michaels. Jillian Michaels tried to downplay slavery.
So he's not? He's not. No,
Okay.
he's not. And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact.
Okay, so she's talking about 4547 taking over the African American Museum, and you cannot tie slavery to one race, which is what they're doing. Slavery to one race. If nobody is tying anything, they're talking about the transatlantic slave trade. So she's trying to, everyone had slaves, kind of like the little skit that I played for you from PragerU, PragerU, who they want to replace PBS with, where they have a Christopher Columbus saying that, slavery wasn't, what did he say? Something to the effect that slavery wasn't that bad. It's better than being killed. This revisionist history that they're out here trying to say. Now you have Jillian Michaels out here. She doubled down on her thoughts. Yes, understand. I want you to understand that this bitch has adopted a black daughter from Haiti. I do want you to understand. And look at how she tries to crouch slavery as if it wasn't a widespread thing. Like slavery wasn't a widespread thing. It was just done by a few people, and it wasn't like the whole country. Yes, because the whole country didn't accept slavery, but the South sure did. And we're gonna go into the effects that this small, only 2% of people in the United States own slaves, she says. Well, let's see how that the 2% of people who own them, that doesn't say that 2% of the people in the United States were only slaves. Okay, let's continue.
That when you
look at slavery,
let's talk about the fact.
slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans own slaves?
But it was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery is thousands of years old?
White people were
Do you know
the slave
who
owners.
was the first race to try to end slavery?
Well,
what's controversial?
I'm very surprised.
This is an extraordinary exercise in historical revisionism.
I'm really surprised.
Do you realize that?
Jillian, I'm surprised that you're trying to litigate
who was the beneficiary of slavery and
I'm
who
not.
was not.
What I'm trying to tell you is
in
that
the context of American history.
Okay.
In the context of American history, what are you saying is incorrect by saying that it was white people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad.
I don't
and
think
it's totally partisan.
We don't, first of all, we don't have time to litigate all of this.
Of course we don't. Because
Okay, so we were talking specifically about the slave trade in the United States. Now here she goes with everything bad is white as bad. Now everything bad is white bad, and she's gonna even go over and to talk about what Cubans are going through. Everything is white bad. Was it good? Bitch, should we say that it was good? Let's take that back a hair with this bullshit that this bitch was on here talking.
Oppressing black people?
every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad.
I don't
and
think
it's totally partisan.
We don't, first of all, we don't have time to litigate all of this.
Of course we don't, because then you're going to lose the argument.
We don't have time to litigate all of this. Of course you don't, because then you're going to lose. Now, this is a woman who is sitting up there that she has a list of every museum exhibit. And she's saying that only 2% of Americans own slaves. And if you say anything what's wrong with that, it's just because you just want to say everything bad is white. Okay. Let's continue.
Everything is racialized, just like you're trying to do to me now.
Now,
just like you're trying to do to
now she's become a victim. Jillian is racializing. She's telling Abby that you're racializing something, and Abby did not start the conversation. She was having the conversation with the other lady on the panel, and Abby butted in with actual facts, and she's sitting up there in her feelings and her hair going to and fro and left and right. White bad. What, bitch? If you want to have an argument, have an argument. All of this white bad. You guys are trying to vilify. We don't have time. You would lose the conversation. No, she wouldn't lose the conversation because you have stated no facts that you want to declare in your bullshit that people are blaming wrongly blaming white people for what white people did, and you trying to whitewash it like, oh, everybody did it. Well, like my mama said, if everybody jumped off a building, will you go jump off the building, bitch? What the fuck you talking about, ho? Oh, anyway, I apologize. I went back a little bit.
But I do the argument. Everything is racialized, just like you're trying to do to me now.
Excuse me.
Trying to give you a lesson in history. Put it up full mass. Ironic. Jillian Michaels goes full Karen defending white people's role in slavery. According to Mediaite, the fitness influencer and Trump defender stunned CNN anchor Abby Phillip with her argument about white people and slavery during a heated exchange on Trump's push to review history in museums. Trump has spent years defending Confederate monuments and pushing against problematic aspects of U.S. history, including the widely mocked purges of information deemed to be DEI related. Most recently, he's been leaning on Smithsonian museums to review and revise their content to reflect Trump's views. So Michaels leaped to shield the white race from shouldering all of the blame and then lashed out at Phillip by claiming she racialized the argument. Producers know. All right. So this woman is raising a black child she adopted from Haiti, by the way. So here it is. Slaveholding, while extremely profitable, was virtually the only way to become truly prosperous in the South. That very profitability proved a challenge for the South because as the price of slaves increased, the percentage of white families who owned slaves decreased. In 1840, about a third of white families owned at least one slave. By 1860, about a fourth did. Those are facts. White people in the South who did not own slaves were deeply implicated in the system. With large numbers of non-slave holders hiring enslaved workers, trading with plantation owners, acting as bankers or insurers, and aiding the slave trade. Non-slave holders could sustain quite respectable family farms, gain respect as ministers or lawyers, or run shops in towns, but they could not attain the heights of their slave-holding neighbors. Of the many myths told about American slavery, one of the biggest is that it was an archaic practice that only enriched a small number of men. The argument has often been used to diminish the scale of slavery, reducing it to a crime committed by a few Southern planters.
That's exactly what she's trying to do. Do you know how many people own slaves? But what about the few people who own hundreds of slaves? What about 1/3 of people who owned at least one slave? So she's trying to diminish it. It wasn't that. It in the scheme of American life, it wasn't that big of a deal. That's what she's trying to do. Let's continue.
One that did not touch the rest of the United States. Slavery, the argument goes, was an inefficient system, and the labor of the enslaved was considered less productive than that of a free worker being paid a wage.
Now, that is the argument. It was an inefficient, and it just wasn't in. The enslaved were considered less productive. They could be less productive. They out there lazy, frolicking in the crops and in the fields with these overseers with their whips. Do you think that the slaves were? Now they're trying to say the slaves were lazy. They're trying to say that to push people to work, you needed to give them cash incentives because compared to people who were free workers, they were working for a wage. They were more productive than the slaves. Are you serious? These are the arguments that they are going to try to incorporate into this narrative. How unimportant you and I and our ancestors were in the building of this country. You just heard that fool Benny Johnson claim all the greatness of DC from its architecture to its building of DC. Do you see a thread running through this shit? The same thread that ran through the shit back in the 60s and the 70s, those songs that I played for you guys earlier. How much has changed from then and to now? And now they are saying it out loud. In the 70s and the 80s and stuff, they had to bridle their tongue. But now their tongues are loose. And this is how they're trying to reconstruct our black history. Don't let them do it. Let's continue.
Use of enslaved labor has been presented as pre-modern. A practice. Use of enslaved labor has been presented
Hold on.
as pre-modern. A practice.
Hold on. I hit the wrong button. I was trying to go back to StreamYard. Excuse me for 1 second. I hate when I do that. I have to go back to StreamYard and get that. Let me. Here we are. Let me get back to the spot where we were. Okay. I apologize. I'm going to let this play out, and then I'll talk about it after the end. Okay, we had that one. Here we are. We're on this one.
One that did not touch the rest of the United States. Slavery, the argument goes, was an inefficient system, and the labor of the enslaved was considered less productive than that of a free worker being paid a wage. The use of enslaved labor has been presented as pre-modern, a practice that had no ties to the capitalism that allowed America to become and remain the leading global economy. But as with so many stories about slavery, this too is untrue. Slavery, particularly the cotton slavery that existed from the end of the 18th century to the beginning of the Civil War, was a thoroughly modern business, one that was continuously.
And it was modernized by an actual slave. By an actual slave that created the cotton gin. So because he saw so many slaves losing their limbs trying to push the collected cotton through these wires and things that they had to separate the slaves. So many slaves lost their limbs in the cotton gin, which made it very much efficient. All the cotton that they sold over in Europe and all over the world made them rich. How rich that these 2% of it was 2% of white people who owned slaves. Well, let's see how rich they got off of owning slaves. Let's see.
Changing, transforming to maximize profits. The bodies of the enslaved served as America's largest financial asset, and they were forced to maintain America's most exported commodity. In 60 years, from 1801 to 1862, the amount of cotton picked daily by an enslaved person increased 400%. The profits from cotton propelled the U.S. into a position as one of the leading economies in the world and made the South its most prosperous region. The ownership of enslaved people increased wealth for Southern planters so much that by the dawn of the Civil War, the Mississippi River Valley had more millionaires per capita than any other region. Slavery being enabled by members of the government. Of the 55 delegates to the Constitutional Convention, 25 owned slaves. The framers of the Constitution believed that concessions on slavery were the price for the support of Southern delegates for a strong central government. They were convinced that if the Constitution restricted the slave trade, South Carolina and Georgia would refuse to join the Union. But by sidestepping the slavery issue, the framers left the seeds for future conflict. The word slave does not appear in the Constitution. This is true. Framers consciously avoided the word, recognizing that it would sully the document. Nevertheless, slavery received important protections in the Constitution. For example, the notorious 3/5 clause, which counted 3/5 of a state's slave population in apportioning representation, gave the South extra representation in the House of Representatives and extra votes in the Electoral College. There is more. When we say the Electoral College is a slave aerodynamic, this is what we're talking about. In order for the South to gain more power in the federal government, the Constitution allowed Southerners to count slaves under the 3/5 compromise so they could have more power in their Electoral College count or mass per state and in their congressional representation. All of that additional representation came on the back.
And that is the only time that the count of the slaves were considered in the United States politics to get the white slave owners more power. You do understand that. After you count their heads, throw their asses back in the field and continue to enrich yourself and your family only off of them, because they have no representation, no vote. And you see how this administration is doing everything they can to steal the votes and particularly the black population. It's bad enough that you see so many Negroes out here proud to be ignorant enough to not even get up and bother to vote. But they're trying to steal it from the ones that actually get up and vote. giving you these provisional ballots. You go to vote and your name has been taken off of the voting rolls. They took over, it was hundreds of thousands of names off of the voting roll in Georgia, in the heavily black areas. And then they gave out these provisional ballots that may or may not be counted. And they have made it easier for anybody to contest you being on the voting rolls. And then what do? Some stranger can come up to Jill and say, I contest if this is a real person, this is her real name. I'm contesting her right to vote. And what did Jill get, who is supposed to be on the ballot? And after the count is over, then they find out that you were wrongly purged from the voting polls. It don't make no difference because your vote didn't count. In Georgia, they are still trying to put people on election boards in Georgia who openly say that they will not certify the elections if they feel that something is off with the elections. Where at? In Atlanta, Georgia. In Atlanta, they have so many people who are willing to sit on election boards and refuse to certify the elections in black counties and black areas. So be aware of. I digress.
Of black folk who had no rights. They had no rights under that Constitution. They could be murdered, sexually abused, molested with approval from the United States government. Understand what slavery actually is, and understand what people are doing when they try to whitewash it. Slavery was human trafficking.
Period.
Slavery was also human sex trafficking.
Period.
Period. Now, anytime someone tries to contextualize slavery as some positive or that the country was not implicit, understand what they said was legal to do. It was legal to traffic human bodies. It was legal to sexually abuse those same human bodies. It was legal to physically torture those human bodies, and it was legal to murder them. There's more. Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson would have lost the election of 1800 if not for the 3/5 compromise. I'm helping you see how big a deal slavery actually was. The Constitution also prohibited Congress from outlawing the Atlantic slave trade for 20 years. They couldn't even make it statutorily illegal. A fugitive slave clause required the return of runaway slaves to their owners. The Constitution gave the federal government the power to put down domestic rebellions, including slave insurrection. That means murder them just because they want free.
Put down domestic disturbances. Isn't that what Project 2025 has in store by putting the military on the streets to quell protesters? Make America great again. I have to make sure. Make America great again. Do you not understand what is going on? Do you let me tell you. If I gotta, yeah, okay.
Freedom. The law got so extreme that if you happen to find someone or come across someone who was a fugitive slave, meaning they were seeking and had obtained their freedom, if you did not turn them in, you then were under a similar penalty yourself. That is how they enforced it. There's more. From the founding of the United States until long after the Civil War, hundreds of the elected leaders writing the nation's laws were current or former slave owners themselves. More than 1,800 people who served in the U.S. Congress in the 18th, 19th, and even 20th centuries owned human beings at some point in their lives. That's according to a Washington Post investigation of census and other historical records. So, in all due respect, Ms. Michael, slavery was a big deal. More than 2% of folk had them. And yes, it did set up the American economy to be the prosperous global engine it is today. Those are your facts. All right, dear brother, thoughts?
Those are your facts. So they are trying to recreate history as if anything regarding slavery was important in building this nation and the wealth of this nation. So fuck Jillian Michaels and her bullshit and her being trying to be some type of media star on the right. It was a whole lot of bullshit. Now, two last things. I want to share with you. You may enjoy them. Water seeks its own level. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this page. I just found it today. So you may want to go over there and check them out. They have a lot of ads, and this is one of their political ads. And what you will find interesting is that all of these people are Republicans, and look at all of the stuff that they ignore and uphold.
Candidate Roy Moore defiant as more accusers step forward, alleging sexual misconduct.
This is the shopping mall where some say it was common knowledge and not a big secret that Roy Moore would flirt with teenage girls when he was in his 30s.
One accuser says that Moore initiated a sexual encounter back in 1979 when she was just 14 years old.
So get out.
Now, if you guys are not familiar with Roy Moore, they were hanging their hats on Roy Moore winning the seat. It was imperative that they win the seat that Roy Moore was. I think it was for a Senate seat, and it was all boots on the ground for Roy Moore. Even after these accusations, they came out late in his run, real late, real close to the election. I think his name was still on the ballot. I don't recall if he pulled out, but I remember Roy Moore. There were so many jokes about Roy Moore. And here we go.
Old.
So get out and vote for Roy Moore.
Minnesota GOP donor and political operative Tony Lazzaro will learn his fate today after being convicted of sex trafficking minors.
Dennis Hastert convicted of a financial crime, part of a scheme to mask something more egregious, his molestation of children.
Hush money used to pay a man who says Hastert sexually abused him when he was 14 years old.
A stunning political scandal that is rocking Capitol Hill. Republican Congressman Mark Foley abruptly resigned Friday after questionable emails he sent to a teenage boy.
There are now 5 former Ohio State wrestlers accusing Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of knowing about a teen doctor's alleged sexual misconduct.
43 men who say they were sexually assaulted, abused, molested, or harassed by Dr. Richard Strauss.
A key figure in the federal investigation of Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz pleaded guilty to several charges, including sex trafficking of a minor.
Congressman Matt Gaetz paid for sex with multiple women as well as a girl who was 17 at the time.
Ghislaine Maxwell is accused of helping Epstein sexually abuse underage girls.
I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well.
Okay, that's Dynamite. The link is in my description box, and I have one more I want to share with you from them. Just showing you, you usually are not hanging around with people that don't have common interests as you. Here it is, the crime scene. Here we go. Let's what is this? What is this dude's name? Rick Scott, the former governor of Texas, Florida, who is now the senator of Florida, who has had to pay back the biggest Medicaid fraud penalty of all time. He's a senator currently. Okay, let's get to it.
The MAGA Republicans know what they're doing. Selling fear, distress, through racist dog whistles and crime. An attempt to distract from President Biden's accomplishments. Desperate because they know they don't have what it takes to get the job done in Washington. But Americans will not buy into these old-fashioned tactics because they've watched the Republicans take a step back when real action was needed, when real crime was perpetrated, and America was attacked. No, Americans won't fall for this anymore, because if Republicans truly cared about crime, we all know one place they'd start: the crime scene, Mar-a-Lago. Dems is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Okay, just a couple of ads that I wanted to show you. If you guys not familiar with them, I'll go over there and check them out. They have some interesting and good commentary over there. Let me see. I have something up there about Ice Cube. If you don't know Ice Cube, I have something up there. Ice Cube met with Jared Kushner on several occasions, but he refused to meet in the White House. He was trying to hide. Now, Ice Cube is out here speaking loud about the immigration, but he had this what was it? Some type of contract for Black America, but he couldn't even. I gotta show you. I gotta show you this. This is what it means to be. And I used to love me some Ice Cube. But you know, all of these rappers, because they have a little oh, that's not the one. Oh, there's another one. ICE is doing an eye scan. They're trying to get technology. ICE is okay. We're going to talk about this. I got to share this with you. This eye scan technology that they are trying to use. Why is it? Why do I care? Because ICE is using it. They say that they're trying to get this eye scanning technology. And why? Because if they get this technology, they will be able to know everything about you by just scanning your eyes. They don't have to be in front of you with the thing like Will Smith and what's his name on Men in Black. No, they can take a facial recognition picture and scan your eye and know everything about you. But what do they do first? They try to make it seem like no. We're just trying to get the illegals out of the country. It's for ICE to use to get illegals out of the country. But who is Peter Thiel? Remember Peter Thiel, who I told you about? Remember the all of the information that he and Elon Musk is allowed to have via the government about every citizen in the United States? Do you think that they're just going to use it on immigrants? They are arresting non-immigrants right now. The 4547 said he would like to put some homegrown people in El Salvadorian prisons. So do you think that this new eye scanning technology is just going to be used on immigrants or people who they suspect as being immigrants? Because you can't tell by looking at them if they are immigrants. You know, you got to scan their eye. So let's go with this.
Camps, Alligator Auschwitz. So as Trump cracks down on immigration and opens up these concentration camps, Alligator Auschwitz and Guantanamo Bay, and they're building other ones right now, and they send people to CCOT, and as he has these masked ICE agents round up innocent people, no due process, no habeas corpus, one of the things that people need to keep in mind is that the tools that they're using to go after immigrants, and many of these people, by the way, are legal immigrants, and many of them end up being U.S. citizens, but it never stops just there, right? It always goes further. As soon as you have the tools in place, they're in place for everybody. So with that being said, take a look at this Newsweek article. ICE to buy eye scanning tech that could identify migrants in seconds. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement plans to use eye scanning biometric systems, according to new documents. Procurement documents published on Wednesday show that the agency is seeking to buy access to a service called IRIS, which describes itself as a national web-based IRIS biometric network. Newsweek contacted ICE outside normal working hours for more information via email. President Trump's administration has intensified efforts to remove undocumented migrants in keeping with the president's hardline mass deportation policy. The White House has maintained that anyone residing in the U.S. illegally is a criminal. ICE has faced intense scrutiny over its conduct, becoming a focal point in the national immigration debate. The documents reflect federal agencies' increasing reliance on sophisticated biometric systems to verify identities in the field, with the technologies offering rapid verification capabilities to support enforcement and removal operations. Newly released procurement documents show that ICE was in the process of acquiring mobile iris scanning devices from BI2 Technologies, a tech firm in Massachusetts. Its flagship products, the Mobile Offender Recognition and Information System, MORIS, and the Inmate Identification and Recognition System, IRIS, are intended to help ICE's Enforcement and Removal Operations Unit verify the identities of individuals in custody and those encountered during enforcement actions. According to manufacturer materials, the technology allows officers to authenticate identities within seconds and access criminal justice records from multiple jurisdictions.
And let's not forget that Peter Thiel uses same type of technology allegedly to unalive many Palestinians who were hiding during the war just because that it was a body count, and they were Peter Thiel also has contract with the United States government on for military purposes. Are we gonna forget that I told you about this? Are we gonna forget that Peter Thiel, who has used this to unalive people hiding from the war, who has put a kill number on every person who was living in Palestine, a number to you live close to someone, so therefore you're high on the kill list because your neighbor is this, that, and the other, as if everybody has the capacity to choose who lives in near them or next to them. Are we going to forget about all of that and think that this is only going to be used on undocumented immigrants? We see what's going on in DC now. And it was about crime, and then they just threw it in. Well, while you out here, get some undocumented immigrants out too. So let's not pretend, people. Wake up.
Once a person is enrolled in a national biometric database, so understand what's happening here, and this is what we're seeing with Palantir and Peter Thiel. They want to create a mass database on all Americans, basically a massive blackmail database with dozens or hundreds of facts about everybody in this country, all in one place. And the government can have access to that at any time whatsoever. We're creating in real time a 1984 police state mass surveillance system. And now what ICE is rolling out here is you're walking down the street, a federal agent could just snap a picture of your face real quick, and there's eye scanning technology, which all they have to do is get that information, and then boom, they know every single thing about you. They know your...
Okay, so this is in my description box. Go over there and check this link out. I think that you will find it quite interesting. I have been talking about this type of thing for quite a while. I played things from Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel doesn't even is not even sure if humanity should be allowed to continue. Okay. So this who has defense contracts with the United States. And I just told you what he has been allegedly doing with his contracts in Israel. I mean, in Gaza. Okay, in Palestine. So, here I want to I got two more things to share with you. I swear that they're good. This is about 4547 taking over the arts and the museums.
White House says it will do a review of Smithsonian museum exhibits so that they align with Trump's vision. They're admitting partisan abuse of a hallowed institution that is supposed to provide accurate history, beautiful art, and truth, but not switch every 4 years based on politics. Renowned painter Amy Sherrill actually pulled out of a Smithsonian exhibit to show, by walking away, that she was not going to put up with any such distortions. For example, her paintings, including one that imagined a sort of trans Statue of Liberty, facing pressure from this partisan big government anti-free speech administration. His attempts at a cult of personality are also becoming quite noticeable and at times bizarre. He said he will personally host this year's honors ceremony at Kennedy Center, obviously giving a tell to how he views not only his schedule, because you should be busy doing, peace negotiations, but also that he sees himself on par with the usual approach and honorees.
The Kennedy Center honors have been among the most prestigious awards in the performing arts. I wanted one. I was never able to get one. The hell with it. I'll become chairman. And I'll give myself an honor.
The joke is not a joke. He is upset about his prior treatment and wants everything to be political. Remember, even if you are a traditional conservative, even a Republican or MAGA voter, most people do not want politics rubbed and distorted over every single part of our American culture. Let the artists decide. That's why we go to see art. The broader backdrop is the abuse of power, the threats to companies, the misuse of the merger approval process that we've covered, shows that now even Hollywood, which of course is just a bunch of businesses, are chasing red state audiences, and shows trying to go after what is a suddenly prized demographic. Reporters from the New Yorker chasing that story, and entire corporations are bowing to powerful right-wing actors, including cutting normal diversity programs or recruitment, the Paramount Skydance merger as measured, and that is just the tip of the censorship iceberg. To get into this story, we have what we think is a great guest tonight, Don Lemon, who of course is a serious reporter and anchor. We showed him out in the field earlier in the program, but also, quite frankly, a knowledgeable part of our culture.
Many New Yorkers are not changing their routines despite the latest terror warnings. Are you racist?
I am the least racist person that you have ever met.
We're on the eve of Super Tuesday, Senator. What's the one thing you want voters there and across the country to know before they cast their vote?
What do you talk about? Oh, cookies and pretty much cookies.
The Cookie Monster interview, not an easy get. I've never gotten one of those. I do it. Looks fun. I want to mention, of course, the Don Lemon Show on YouTube, where a lot of Don's longtime viewers and fans catch up with him. And he's the author of I Once Was Lost, My Search for God in America, the book that brings him to us tonight. Great to have you.
Thank you. And I write about this.
What do you see in Trump here?
I say that money-driven mass media created Trump. He's a creation of that, so we should be surprised that he's a bloviator. Here's a good thing. By the way, I just want to say Amy Sherrill is a friend of mine. I've never been prouder of her. I'm so happy that she's doing what she's doing, and I think this is actually going to be helpful to her. And I think in some strange way, this will be helpful to other artists. As you know, you're a huge fan of rap and hip-hop. So artists like the fire. It makes them better. And so Donald Trump thinks that he's, helping or he's changing or whatever he thinks that he's doing with artists, but he's actually helping them in a sense to become better artists. This is art in itself, what Donald Trump is doing. It is performance art, bad performance art, that he's going to get roasted by artists, whether it's rappers, whether it's painters, whether it's photographers or whatever it is. Artists are going to get us out of this terrible time that we're in. I believe it's going to be artists because it's definitely not journalism right now for the most part. Because, as you know, you mentioned in the run-up to when you were introducing me, a lot of folks are bending the knee. Artists don't do that. They do what Amy Sherrill did, and they say, you're not changing my art. It's for consumption of people, not for...
Well, I want to, the link is in my description box. I want to highlight another artist who is, Leonard, who was quite disappointed. I was quite disappointed in. Let me Ice Cube, who tries to say that the Democrat Party didn't want to come together with him on his flim-flam agreement with the black people or something, and he didn't even know what was in it. They asked him, well, you do know, he said that 4547 was the only one who wanted to negotiate with him on this agenda. And then they said, well, you do know that this $500 billion is not going to go to black people. You know, they flim-flammed him and said, hey, we got a $500 billion investment. And he was like, oh, okay, as if it was going to go to anything on his agenda or towards black people. It was a infrastructure type deal. And then they said, well, what is it on his agenda that we have up here so far that coincides with your demands? And he sat up there looking like a deer in the headlights. Let's check this out. I am highly disappointed. Yes, I'm sharing it. Okay, here we go.
You know, it's all kind of different situations been going around, you know, as far as immigration. But to see people like disrespected like that, and, you know, the federal government just, you know, being too heavy-handed and disrespectful, going to churches and weddings and, you know.
Oh, now he's up in arms. He's up in arms. He did not know that this was the agenda when he was sitting down with Jared Kushner. No, he did not know any of this. Say what you mean, man. Say what you mean.
Grabbing people.
He was angry that the Harris administration did not contact him first. So first come, first serve. And what did you get served, Ice Cube? Some tepid water. Is that what you got served, Ice Cube? This is in my description box under Ice Cube or tepid water. Let's continue.
Out of those schools, and you know, it's like, come on, man. You know, y'all just,
because there's a way to do it, right?
Overdoing it. You know, and then the country flip flops. First it's cool, then it's not, then it's cool, then it's not. You know, it's like, how could somebody even keep up with what's going on? So it's just, it's sad, man. I can't wait till this period is over. You know, it's like,
so the country is his guiding force. It's his moral scope on what was already presented with him, and someone who he thought he had a deal and was in a line with. It's the country's fault, not yours.
I don't know how we're gonna get to the end, but this is just it's crazy to see people dragged out of the spots of refuge.
Well, why don't you write up another agenda? Why don't you just write up another agenda and secretly meet with Jared Kushner? So, since you're so out of sorts and don't know what to do, write up another agenda and see who calls you first now, bitch.
You know?
Look, speaking out is good, and I hear you, but...
Over the summer, Cube released a contract with Black America, calling for reforms to close the opportunity gap in this country. But President Trump's son-in-law and top advisor Jared Kushner met with him for 3 hours.
They listened, heard what I had to say, and pumped up their plan and presented it to the people on September, I believe, 24th.
We call it the Platinum Plan.
2 weeks ago, Cube praised the president's Platinum Plan.
This man worked directly with Donald Trump and his administration and appeared warm to their efforts to retake the White House since 2020.
Rapper and actor Ice Cube is facing backlash after one of Trump's senior advisors revealed he is working with the administration. Now, Ice Cube tried to clear the air, saying he reached out to both candidates about his plans for Black America and the Trump campaign, which is the first to respond.
The Trump campaign came to me and asked me to explain to them some of the contract with Black America. That's what I did. I'm not playing no more of these games, these political games. We're not part of a team. We have very broad problems.
Ice Cube, in my interview with him, he said that, you know, the Trump was committed to $500 billion in their so-called Platinum Plan. The reality is that I said to Ice Cube, look, what they committed to, there's no commitment. There's nothing substantive behind it. The question is, can you trust the folks who are doing it? Let's just be real. The Trump folks, all they wanted was Ice Cube's stamp of approval of saying he actually had contributed to their Platinum Plan. They wanted the PR hit. They got the PR hit, and that's what they wanted.
Roland Martin, by the way, was right here.
Has been a busy 24 hours for Ice Cube since Republicans supporting Trump sent this tweet out yesterday. This went out from Deontay Johnson. So Ice Cube has officially given the Trump campaign permission to reveal that he has been helping us develop President Trump's groundbreaking Black Trump platform, the Platinum Plan. Katrina Pearson, he was also had this here. Shout out to Ice Cube for his willingness to step up and work with Donald Trump administration to help develop the Platinum Plan. But with your contract, it lists these 13 different points here. And again, in their plan, what do you see in the Platinum Plan they released that mentions that mirrors anything that's in yours?
You know, you got if I'm looking at it, agreeing to direct VC money to black investment companies up to $40 billion.
What else? Huh? What are you looking at? Huh?
You see, a lot of people have been talking about this $500 billion. That's not going to black people. In fact, that's just actually the infrastructure funding program. That's not.
So he's sitting out here all disgruntled and all mad and all they presented a plan, I believe, on September. Well, what is it in this platinum plan that they introduced in September that correlates to what you were saying that you need in this contract with Black America? And you're silent. Are you silent?
Actually, $500 billion going to black people.
Politico even wrote of how the MC joined forces with Donald Trump and his team. Alex Eisenstadt wrote Cube met with Jared Kushner 2 months prior to the election, which was a weeks-long courtship. He was invited to the White House, joined conference calls, and there was even a lunch at Trump's golf club, Bedminster, with Ice Cube's manager. By the way, Cube did not want to be seen at the White House, so what did they do? They met quietly in a D.C. area hotel with Trump's team. This is the same dude who said in April 2016, Donald Trump is what Americans love. Donald Trump is what Americans aspire to be. Rich, powerful, do what you want to do, say what you want to say, be how you want to be. That's kind of been like the American dream. He'd add this of Trump, then give an ominous piece of analysis considering where he is politically today. So he looks like a boss to everybody, and Americans love to have a boss. So, that's his appeal. Later admitting, do I think he's going to do anything to help poor people or people that's struggling? No, because, he's a rich white guy. How can he relate? I'm just saying, how can he relate to the small guy? Genuine question. What happened to you, man? What happened to you? Like, genuinely curious. Because on the surface, it's like, yeah, the only way, by the way, for this country to try and make amends with black folks is reparations. That's it, which I am in favor of. That is it. But it seems like in that Roland Martin interview, he did not even fully comprehend what was in the contract. It's like, I'm losing my mind as we cover the Ice Cube stuff, but I'm just genuinely curious. Like, you're saying that he's out of touch. You're saying, how can he relate to the small guy? Is it because you don't consider yourself like a small guy? Like, yeah, you might be worth a good amount of money. You are not.
You are not. You're rich. You're not wealthy. Let's be clear. You are rich, but you're not wealthy. You are the small guy.
Peter Thiel money. I doubt you're Donald Trump money. You say that you want to fight for the small guy, and then you're doing business like this. Like, I'm genuinely flabbergasted by this. But, you see Ice Cube is like the face of the big three, right? He is undoubtedly the face. But there's another name that you should know. Well, Jeff Kwatinetz, the founder of the Big Three per their website, once ran a management company which went by The Firm. The CFO of that company, Steve Bannon. The same Steve Bannon who served in Trump's first administration, received support from David Duke, and per his ex-wife is an anti-Semite who alleged in court he didn't want his daughter attending a school with too many Jews. Kwatinetz would refute these claims. Steve is a great character. He's not a racist or anti-Semitic. It is absurd. I am Jewish. Roy Furman was Jewish. Andrew Breitbart was Jewish. He is not anti-Semitic. I'm telling you that the guy is a good person. I know it. So I end with this. Speaking out is good. Everyone should be speaking out. It's just that there is going to be, like, the headline is Ice Cube, right? And then there is rightfully so bullet points of people checking you saying, like, hey man, you kind of gave them a lot of leverage and power by using your voice and the power that you have to say that you rocked with him over the years. And he'll never come out and fully say this because it would hurt his standing. But it just baffles me, man. Like, you were
but what he did doesn't hurt his standing. Let me see.
The same dude that, like, gave interview after interview after interview, and you allowed yourself to be played, man. You allowed yourself to be used. It is right to question, like, where you're coming from on a lot of this. Because, like, I don't even know if this is like truly heartfelt. It feels like it is, but when you uplift someone like this and their administration and the people that they
And on what was his rationale? Because they contacted him first. That was his rationale. So I wanted to share this with you. Now I don't know if you guys know that Melania Trump has threatened to sue Hunter Biden for $1 billion because Hunter Biden repeated a story that he said had come from the Richard Wolff, who had interviewed Epstein, and he said this is what Richard Wolff reported. He didn't say it like this is fact, and it was coming from his mouth. He said it was reported by Richard Wolff, and we have seen Richard Wolff actually report on it just the way Hunter Biden had said it. Now, there is no lawsuit against Richard Wolff. These are things that Richard Wolff said, and let's see his response to the fact that Melania wants to sue him for $1 billion if he does not apologize, and they take this interview down that he had with this interviewer. I played pieces of that interview, not the Melania part. It was just Hunter Biden was on one. Hunter Biden was riffing, and I played I think it was last week that this came out. So this was the response, and now here is his response to her.
A letter that Donald Trump apparently wrote for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, and this idea that they shared a wonderful secret. What do you think he's referring to?
I think.
Now, this is Richard Wolff. This is where all of this is coming from, and this is who Hunter Biden referenced. Now, you see he is taking questions. He's talking about all the interviews, the hours and hours of interviews that he sat down with Epstein. Let's continue.
That he is referring to the girlfriend that they shared at
Michael Wolff. I said Richard Wolff. Michael Wolff.
That point in time, 92, 93. So there was a woman, and as far as I know, she's not underage, but who they literally shared, who literally went back and forth between these two guys.
And she went back and forth in the same bed with the two of them? Was it a threesome, or she was dating both of them separately?
I don't know the mechanics.
So Melania didn't like that, and so she asked them to take down the video. She also didn't like this. This is someone who saw the video replaying or regurgitating what it said.
Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania to Donald Trump.
Trump was a frequent passenger on Epstein's plane, known as the Lolita Express. And Epstein told author Michael Wolff the first time he slept with Melania was on my plane. In a 2002 interview with New York Magazine, Trump showered praise on Epstein, calling him a, quote, terrific guy, and saying it is even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
She didn't like that. And so Hunter Biden, before we get to Melania's response, this is what Hunter Biden said, and this is why he's getting potentially sued.
According to his biographer, is that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania. That's how Melania and the First Lady and the President met.
Really?
Yeah.
Epstein made the intro.
Yeah, according to Michael Wolff.
Yeah.
And so
Okay, so this is what she wants him to apologize and wants the interview taken down for. Now, you hear him saying, according to his biographer, that's what she told Michael Wolff. He is not saying this as he's dropping any tea. He's referencing what was said. Okay.
Only can go by what people are saying.
So that hurt Melania Trump's feelings, the fact that Hunter Biden was just saying again what a reporter said. He didn't say this is what happened. He didn't say it as fact. He said this is what someone said. Well, Melania Trump didn't like that, and the First Lady Melania Trump is putting Hunter Biden on a $1 billion notice. It's so insane. Where she claims false and defamatory, disparaging, and inflammatory statements made about her, demanding his immediate remove and retract the content and issue an apology or face legal action. Her lawyer demanded that Biden, quote, immediately retract the false, defamatory, disparaging, and inflammatory statements made about Mrs. Trump, which were contained in a video interview with Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan, posted to YouTube in early August. Okay, and then here's the letter. It says here, if you do not comply with the above by August 7th, 2025 at 5 p.m., Mrs. Trump will be left with no alternative but to enforce her legal and equitable rights, all of which are expressly reserved and are not waived, including by filing legal action for $1 billion. $1 billion. Come on. It couldn't just be like 100 million. You got to do $1 billion. She is a Trump. She's a Trump. Now, as I said, Hunter Biden has responded to this. It's the week after that deadline, that self-imposed deadline. And here's how Hunter Biden responded, and it's beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, the day of presidential litigation has arrived. It's lawsuit time. In my hand is a legal demand letter addressed to Mr. Hunter Biden from the First Lady of the United States, demanding a retraction of Channel 5's video called Hunter Biden Returns, in which Mr. Biden here makes some speculative comments about the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, Melania Trump, and Donald Trump.
Okay, well, they knew each other well. They spent an enormous time together. According to his biographer, is that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania. That's how Melania and the First Lady and the president met.
Really?
Yeah.
Epstein made the intro.
Yeah, according to Michael Wolff.
Yeah.
And so I only can go by what people are saying, and I don't know.
He didn't make these claims out of nowhere. They come from another journalist named Michael Wolff, who is a biographer that actually spoke to Jeffrey Epstein. But now here we are. And I've got $1 billion document in my hands because Mrs. Trump is seeking $1 billion in damages if we don't take the video down and if Hunter here doesn't issue a formal apology to Mrs. Trump. So now we're here maybe to give you the platform to apologize to the First Lady for your statements that you made about her possible connection to Jeffrey Epstein.
Fuck that. That's not going to happen.
So
fuck that. That's not gonna happen.
Good. Amazing. Why can't more people do that? Why can't Jeff Bezos do that? Why can't Tim Cook do that? I can literally list James Carville. Why can't any?
Oh, I had a story about Tim Cook too. There was a story about why Tim Cook is doing the things that he's doing. You know, Tim Cook, the head of Apple, who bought that 24 karat gold stand from mined in Montana or some shit, and lied and said he was gonna add billions of dollars of investment to Trump. Let me see. Hold on. He reminded me about Tim Cook. I showed that to you. Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it. If I can find it. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday. I hope you guys have a great. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Let's watch as we leave. Let's watch Tim Cook bowing down to 45-47, because I will search that out because I meant to take a look at it, because I had recently did this bow down story. Bow down when it comes to your town. Bow down, cause we West Coast bound. Bow down. Okay, all right, guys. I hope you guys have a great remainder of your weekend, and we're gonna end with Tim Cook bowing down. Let me see. I am going to take out the music earlier in my video. I played some music. Let me see. Here we go. Let me share this with you. Here is Tim Cook taking the knee. If you don't remember me playing it, for you and lying about the investments that he was going to bring to the United States, when many of the investments he had already made, and he had did something like that with Biden as well, and did not follow through. So this is it's engraved. It's a unique unit of one. It was designed by a U.S. Marine corporal. Yes, this is a 24 karat gold base, and the base comes from Utah. I said Montana, same thing, same difference. It's 24 karat gold. The price of gold is currently $3,300 an ounce. His company pledged major new investments in the U.S. Okay, so that is Tim Cook bowing down, making sure that he went and made a public spectacle of himself. Okay, his first rap group was CIA. Says volumes to me. I didn't know that. Most of them folks only heard money and never looked any further. I think they just heard the dollar amount and never delved into the details of what was being said. Listen, just like R. Kelly has no excuse for not being able to read as rich as he was, I'm not giving any excuses. This is the Benny Johnson. His community page is full of hating things about Jasmine Crockett, since Jasmine Crockett has been tearing the Republicans up. Jasmine Crockett, staff turn on her ghetto congresswoman and reveals the truth. She's a monster. And this is Benny Johnson again talking about a black woman. You see, he always have her with mascara running down her face. And look at this other picture. Is that Honest Row? Did Honest Row fill in? Look at the fake nails that he has on her. It looks like Honest Row. Honest Row hair has really been growing. My historic interview with Jasmine Crockett shocks the internet. Watch. So Benny Johnson is totally obsessed with making and smearing Jasmine Crockett. Now she's ghetto. She's ghetto. And Megan Kelly, is her name Megan? Is that her name? Megan Kelly has also done this. She went from ghetto, from people fact checking them, and said how educated she really was. So it's the ghetto insult, and now it's the she fooled all of you guys. She is she has gone to prep schools, and she is just putting on a show for you guys, and she had all of you guys fooled. No, she had you fooled. We knew that she was intelligent because we were listening to what she was saying, other than looking for ways to degrade her. So when you cannot counter them on content, you have to counter them on your racist thoughts of what she should be, but turns out she is not. So these are the people who are on in a 45-47 sphere. Benny Johnson details his investigation into Jasmine working class stolen valor roots. So she has working class stolen valor. So she stole the valor of working class. What you're saying? So she's not working class, and you did an investigation and you found out that she is not working class. So therefore, you thinking she was working class means that she stole the valor of working class roots. You see, that's why we have to. I implore you to keep our real history alive. I investigated where Jasmine Crockett is really from. What we found will shock you. A total fraud. No, what you found shocked you, because you were the one making the assertion that she was some ghetto queen. So that's all I have for you guys today. It's going on out here, and shit. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you around on the YouTube streets. I may, or I may not. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you want to support the channel, $Ronnie Q. And I'm out of here. That's all I got for you guys.